He's got snappers. He's got Pete 50 and stuff. Slim Jims, go get him. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show. Welcome back for another Saturday night sci-fi Shadow Chat. Hey, Twin, welcome to the show. That's my dog. He needs to go outside because he's got 4 legs and he's a freeloader. Excuse me. How's everybody doing?
Chocolate.
Okay.
It's another day.
Happy Sunday, Twin.
And
We
and
will
I'm not
enjoy. We'll be doing this craziness for a couple hours, and then I'm going to go do some writing because I'm a slacker. So good game last night, Bo. I had fun. I know everybody else did too. Don't worry about that other schmo.
Well, you got to take it a little bit personally, right?
No, you literally don't. That guy was soft and squishy inside and out, and
Who?
you got a great group.
This guy is my, I invite people to the game because I'd like to have. Ideally, I'd like to have between 4 and 6 people in the group. 5, yeah, 6 is the far end. And I've invited a couple of fourths, and I've had a couple of fourths quit.
Mhm.
So it seems that I'm here to invite another fourth for the Friday night game.
What are you talking about? You got me, you got Kevin, you got Bobby, you got Mark. That's 4.
Okay, well, I would still like one more solid player to round things out. And if everybody, if everybody keeps developing, then that's fine. But still, I mean, I think I invited that other guy about the same time we invited Bobby. So, they came about the same time.
Yep.
I've had a lot of feelers out, and I've been looking for, people that want to play. And I think the problem that people have is some people don't want to play an emergent story in an open source world, and that's
No, that's not it at all.
what.
Your biggest problem is all the shit that GURPS gets right off the bat. You can't deny.
No, we're playing it old school. No, look, no, I can't deny it. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I can deny it. Because I never tell you what to roll. I never tell you if you explain to me what you want to do, then roll the dice, whether you have the skill or not. That has nothing to do with the system. That's the old school primer, page 1, rulings not rules, right? That's the way we've been playing it since the beginning.
What I'm talking about is the bad rap that it's got over the years. I'm not talking about how you do things.
So that guy was a playtester on GURPS modules.
Yeah, and he either wanted things vastly different, or he was really only there to recruit people for his own game. That's always going to be a third of. That's always going to be like a third of my assessment of the situation, because of his reaction when I said no thanks, I'm here for Bo's game, or something else, not that. Specifically, not that. He picked like the one thing I would never, ever, ever want to be part of, and you guys could have easily still played that without me, and get it out of your system. Let me know. I'll be back. I think I've missed one game in almost 2 years, Bo.
What kind of game did he want to play?
Pendragon.
He wanted to run an Arthurian game. Well, a Pendragon. He wanted to run like an Iron Age England. You don't want to use. I don't think you want to use the Pendragon system.
That's the impression I got. Either way, it wasn't.
For you?
Yeah, that's not my thing. I want more fantasy in my fantasy. and I'd rather play on any world but Earth, unless it's modern contemporary, which I can't claim ignorance of the setting.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Becoming the Borg isn't an improvement. No, we're not actually going to be talking about that. What spurred this was I came across an article in the last 24, 48 hours about how men have are markedly larger than they were about 100 years ago for various cultural and uh, other
Canned goods mostly.
and okay, so
Probably a reversing trend.
and I know from dealing with militaria over the years through my dad's collections and gun shows and things like that, and wondering why, I could wear a men's large when I was 12, things like that. Men were smaller uh, in days gone by, and we've gotten bigger, and we've actually gotten bigger at a greater proportion than women have. Um, and that got me to thinking, well, okay, that's one little aspect. Uh, well, we were gonna do androids, but I think we kind of already did them like a bunch. Uh, so I figured we would do something a little different. And I also kind of wanted to save androids for like a part of the story that the players have no knowledge of. Kind of like a future world or Total Recall, but the larger portion of humanity had no idea that those were a thing, and kind of have that one of the little conspiracies or something like that maybe going on in the background that the players uncover. Oops, I spoiled it. Maybe not.
I'll forget.
Yeah, I know. You guys are good. But it got me thinking. I know that like in my lifetime, just the 57 years we're going to talk about this particular incarnation, that I have seen from my grandfather to my son changes from different reasons, how we were all different from one another in certain ways. Some things, as we'll go through the traveler stats, which are strength, dexterity, endurance, intelligence, education, and soch, how they might go up and down in the next, we're going to call it 500 years, and using some of what's happened in the past as sort of a baseline guideline to go with how they might improve and maybe even decrease in some respects. Because I think that humanity, if we survive another 500 years, we're going to be, everybody here in the panel, in the show, in the audience, we're going to be inferior to what humanity is going to be like in a lot of ways
Eh,
compared to.
Aren't you optimistic?
Yeah, I am. I see,
we're
humanity.
talking about a world where there's a guy walking around normally, living with VR goggles, about 400 pounds, and repairs sex bots for a living.
And by and large,
this guy exists in
not
that
not
world.
your character, but maybe he is by and large. I don't know. But I could see that humanity is going to push for a lot of improvements. We always have since the beginning of time. But I think, in the next 500 years, we could see some really drastic changes. If we were to, let's say, be able to travel 500 years into the future, we would be considered, probably weak and inferior and things like that in some ways. But in other ways, we might be superior depending on how society rolls along in the next 500 years.
Yeah, just sheer competency. Like the things you're competent in will change. Like 200 years ago, most people could like make things like furniture, like would have that skill. It's just like basic.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Leon? Welcome to the show.
100 years
Hopefully enjoy
ago,
the conversation.
Yeah.
people did math in their head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now people can't even balance their budget without a calculator.
Right, but look
Yeah.
at athletes, for example. If you take a modern boxer versus anybody 50 years ago. First
Yeah.
round destroyed.
Okay, now that's I agree with that, but that's because of
Even-
competition. I think that competition makes players better, but we have by and large eliminated social Darwinism
Maybe,
as a
maybe
thing,
that's
and
what we're
that's
going to talk about because it was kind of like the first inclination I got of some of this idea was what was it, Rocky 3 or 4, where he fought Ivan.
that was drugs. It's specialization.
Well, it's not just specialization, but learning from the past and improving. In a lot of things, we are getting better. Uh,
Specialization allows you to dedicate more time to a specific skill,
mhm.
and we have a lot more ability to specialize to luxury things like boxing.
yeah, right. We're not spending all of our time hunting, or farming 18 hours a day to get by.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
we're in trouble in a lot of other ways that are related to that. I mean, look at
Well,
like
yeah,
microplastics in food,
that's kind of.
low testosterone.
But
These things.
okay, let's look at a couple of ways. I think you guys may be right. For example, endurance. Humanity on the average, its endurance is not
Way
what
down,
used. Yes,
way down, because we're not having like most of us sit around doing daycare level work
yep,
in cubicles.
right. But the
We're not
fastest.
having to like who's we used to have this thing where they do like national pride commercials in Canada, and one of them was for a hockey player, a French guy. I can't remember his name. It was like right there, and it was like he had to do his day job while being on the premier hockey team in the country, uh, the
Okay.
Montreal Canadiens.
I thought
Right?
that was the Toronto Maple Leafs.
No, they suck. Uh, Fuck the school board.
Okay,
The
but
school board owns them. Um, but like he would have to do his day job while being a national level sports league person in like the 60s.
mhm.
Now, he's in comparison to like Gretzky was during his day. Fuck, the name is right there, or Pew or something like that.
Cal, I kind of disagree. I think if things start pushing that way, we're going to see something very ugly that will make The Handmaid's Tale uh, look tame in comparison. Um, so
That makes Tails fucking stupid.
I'm just using that as an example of the way some people see things. It would be way worse if men ever decided to just you know let out their inner barbarian. Women would no longer
Well,
be able to
that
read or
that
write.
wasn't what the book was about.
Right.
The book wasn't a man versus woman thing.
Um, so we can see how endurance may either lower,
Mm-hmm.
as a score,
Mm-hmm.
and mind you, we're talking about a 2 to 12 score, 12 being crazy high, 2 being really low, and 6, 7 being average ish. A huge portion of humanity could have uh, anemic sort of endurance scores. But if you look at something like dexterity, hand-eye coordination,
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that we have gotten a lot better. We've actually done things on a passive level, like video games and things like that, that have given us a much higher dexterity score on average, especially if you look
For
at
your thumb.
No, I disagree. I think
hand-eye
that's
coordination. My
no. I think
son,
that means increase the skill, not an attribute.
um, I'm not sure how we could test that, but I can tell
Okay,
you
here's
this.
how you test it. Here's how you test it. You take a person who's really good at playing a video game that has like that requires a high degree of coordination. Have them thread a needle.
Uh,
Can you thread a needle? Well, then you have dexterity. Can you not thread
after
a
how
needle? Then you
much?
don't have dexterity.
Whoa. After how much training to thread the needle?
No. That's the experiment. You take someone who plays video games, someone who doesn't play video games. Neither one of them can thread a needle, and see who can do it better. And then repeat that over hundreds of people. to actually create an experiment with a control group.
Well, because
you want to test a hypothesis. I want to. It's an interesting conjecture, but I don't know how we can actually test it without making
right
or
off the
why we
bat,
should.
right off the bat,
Well, Shadow wants to say that people now have more manual dexterity than people 100 years ago. I want to, I want to understand that.
When we talk about dexterity, we have to add the hand-eye coordination to things that are actually going to be done. Threading a needle is maybe not the best example.
Well, it's something that requires fiddly work and can be
Sure.
systematized.
And a lot of people could fail just because of the size of their hands, just as opposed to what else they can do with their hands. It's a skill.
No, you give them a needle threader.
What?
You give them a needle threader.
But the people we're talking about that play a lot of video games, they only do one other thing with their hands, and we know what that is.
Because I was watching some modern fencing in the Olympics, and if you blink, it's over. That is so quick and so fast compared to the way it used to be. I used to watch fencing back in the 80s,
Not the cord.
and you could follow the match. Now, literally, if you blink, it's over.
Yeah. Look,
that's also the evolution of the sport, though. Now, combat
those
sports
are rules.
Those are rules. They're playing a single touch, and the match is over. And that wasn't always the case with fencing. It used to require a degree of a degree of actual intent. Now they use it all because the scores in fencing is not done by the judge. It's done by an electrified coat and an electrified foil. And when the circuit is complete, then that makes the score.
Yeah.
Let's see. But I take your point, and I've seen that in a lot of other combat sports. The people have gotten so much better, and especially at gaming it, whether that be MMA, boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you name it.
It's funny you mentioned that word because in gaming, we're going to see certain things more than we'll ever see things like threading a needle. We will see lots and lots of combat in a game.
You're fixated on the specific instead of the abstract, man.
Well, the abstract is very rare
No,
in
the threading the needle.
Well,
it's just one example. You could pick 100 things that require fine dexterity. I mean, okay, get someone who's really good at video games and have them drive a car with a manual transmission. Right? That's what I'm saying. It's like,
well, again, you've got to have some training involved because that person who's really good.
That's the point, to see how they do it without the training.
Well, how do you know? I mean,
the dexterity.
You get two people that don't have training.
You're missing
two people that don't have training. You get person A, person B. Neither one of them have done the task that requires a high degree of manual dexterity and hand-eye coordination.
Without any training, without telling them anything.
That's exactly that's the point, because you want to see who has a better attribute. No, you are comparing attributes with skills. I'm trying to judge an attribute.
Yeah, but by seeing how you can instinctively use that attribute to understand and perform a task.
But something like as complex as driving a car.
That's why something stupid like throwing a needle was picked. If you can't figure out how getting a string through a hole works.
With your fingers.
Painting a miniature. Might not even know how to put the key in the ignition.
That's yeah, I know. And I'm trying
then you're assessing their ability to be breeding stock, whether they should be allowed to or not. You've moved from attributes and skills to eugenics.
Oh, we're gonna talk eugenics. Well, yeah, because we're talking about natural selection, inevitably.
Right.
Whether it's
you know, too stupid
Margaret
to figure
Stanger.
out the key to hole. Yeah,
maybe that's a good example. Can you put the key in the hole?
Yeah, but if you don't know,
does it put the key in the hole or it gets the hose again?
you have to at the very minimum show them like one time is my point of what they're supposed to do to see if they can do it.
Okay, one time. Show them one time. An example. Give them an example.
Give them an IKEA manual.
That's I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's purely an intellect test because those things don't make any sense. And if you can make sense out of them, you get a 12 right off the bat.
Well, I've never fucked up an IKEA manual, bro. So I'm thinking maybe you should be getting a 2.
I've never tried to put anything together by IKEA, but I do put together cabinets and things like that with relative ease. If I've got even, the most basic of instructions, I
I
put
know.
together.
Okay, if you're saying that people are going to continue to improve,
Mhm.
whether that be because of education, nutrition, social standing, a stable socioeconomic system that allows people to concentrate on improving themselves, moving up Maslow's hierarchy instead of just focusing on survival.
Well,
And we could talk about things like that, and what the future might look like without,
we've spent the last 40 years destroying Maslow's hierarchy. Like most people don't
Hey, what's up,
like
Raven?
40 years ago, most
I'll
people
send you the link in a
stood
bit.
around like level 3 on that hierarchy. Now most people stand around level 1
I'm not actually
and the
familiar with
lower
that.
half of it. You
Sure.
should pull it up. Pull up Google
I know.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs and pull up a picture of it and look at it right now. It's a diagram.
It's a diagram. It focuses on survival and moves up to self-actualization.
And how do you spell it?
Maslow. It's just an example of a tool used by a
Okay,
lot of folks use it. I mean, nurses use it, doctors use it,
I
not
never
just
heard of it.
social scientists. Well,
Yeah.
you're not a nurse, so I wouldn't expect you to.
Well, most
Well,
people have heard of it. Shadow, you are a very sheltered and detached person.
you're not wrong.
But it would be interesting for you to study it a little bit, just to at least understand how it
I
relates to this
find like
conversation.
You
if
can't
I could
find.
actually find one that I could read. Holy crap, that print is small.
Well, you can enlarge it. You can enlarge your screen.
Uh, Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
And it relates. It's germane to this conversation because we talked about things like you mentioned athletes becoming better at sport, and you mentioned
Yeah.
people becoming larger in strength and stature. But I wonder if that trend might reverse if we don't do things like
You got
to
it.
curtail the
Well,
chemicals in the food. That's
well, it
obviously
has been reversing. Like
microchemicals.
there's no if about it. It has. Like I said, most people 40 years ago were around level 3 or 4. Now most people can't even get into level 1. Like the sheer expanse. Like we see the rampant sexualization in the internet, but like there are more people in the West than ever that just like are literally self-sterilizing through lack of intimate contact, and basic sexual needs is on the bottom of the pyramid. That's just one aspect, right? So
It's interesting.
yeah.
Like to see where that will go with people that again it's a little bit obtuse to say, but not too much to say
Oh,
that people
they've
that can't
changed
cope.
it. They've changed the Maslow's hierarchy too, because it no longer says uh, sexual need at the bottom of the thing on the newest version.
Yeah, I
So
can
that
see
they're
that.
even revising this fucking thing to make it less.
Mandela
Uh,
effect.
yeah. No, I'll just type in original.
Welcome to the
Original.
show, Brian. So let's start at the top with the 6 stats, shall we? The first one being strength.
Okay.
I think
Mhm.
like for example, your character Justin may have
Yeah.
a less than average or maybe just an average strength score from what you've told me about your character right off the
He's an
bat.
obese motherfucker.
Mhm.
He's gonna be
Therefore,
strong enough to like do basic robotics and shit. He's got to be able to use a loofah to ream out those clogged up holes.
because I wish I could rattle the numbers off the top of my head, but like for example, weightlifting maximums from let's say 100 years ago, if they were recorded, to now,
Mhm.
Oh, they're
guaranteed,
recorded.
guarantee they've only gone up, and in most cases these things a lot of these things I think have gone up. Some of them obviously have gone down, and that's one of the things I want to kind of uh, get a good grip on is
But they
project.
haven't gone up. They haven't gone up for the average person. 100 years ago, the average farmer could, like peel an apple in half with his bare hands. It's hard to find. You're again, like Justin said, your specialists are always going to be better.
Yes.
But Joe Schmuckatelli walking down the street
is worse.
Is way worse.
Right, and for the most part, most players don't want to play Joe Schmuckatelli.
No, but
most games, most role playing games, never focus on the average. You're the exception.
Every single fucking character except for Crafting's weird puppet master guy is a normal character.
Yeah.
We've got a guy who runs like the automated burger shack. We got the maintenance guy for sex bots. We got who is the other one?
Raven's veterinarian.
Veterinarian for space cows.
With psychic abilities, which we will actually go into at the end of this section, if you will.
Yeah.
We've got Omen, Crafting, you, Raven, Omen. Did I say Omen? I believe
Doc. That was the first name you said.
Okay,
Doc,
I think Doc.
Doc was the restaurant. No, Doc. I don't know what his character was, but George.
And then George.
George was the restaurant repair guy.
Okay.
So the three people that have shown up the most for these things is me, George, and Crafting.
Okay.
And I listed off those three. And Raven's the space fucking veterinarian with psychic powers.
That sounds
I don't know what the other two were.
Okay, so Brian looked it up. The 1928 Olympic weight was 181.5 pounds.
No.
And deadlift now is 1,104.5 pounds.
Nearly tenfold.
Yep. In 100 years. That's crazy when you think about it.
But I don't think any of the people doing cross country now could also do what it was.
Sure. There was a lot less specialization in those days. You went to the Olympics, you did everything.
What was the Italian guy that came to the Olympics in the U.S. by himself? Like he was just, I'm the representative from Italy, and he paid himself for himself, and he showed up, and he like ran barefoot, and half the course was just like through the woods that way.
Mm-hmm. There's also
or dodge traffic on Maine.
I know a guy who literally he can run like all day long and not even phase him. Literally, you put him on a treadmill or outdoors, he can literally run all freaking day, which is an endurance trait. And like let's focus on strength just for a little bit longer, then we'll go down the road. If we can see these kind of tenfold jumps in 100 years, in 500 years, I don't think we're going to see a 50-fold jump, because I think there will probably be an upward maximum without becoming
we're already hitting that in some lifting, right? Like there are those like super heavy lift guys that like literally destroy their body from the weight that they lift. Yeah.
And without changing the human physique, which I think is going to be something.
Fiber. Yeah, well, you don't know. There could be genetics and whatnot done too.
Especially if they really focused on it. If a laboratory or an institute said, okay, well we're gonna shoot for that 50-fold jump in the next 500 years.
Yeah,
right.
CRISPR.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna take their your gay ass Israeli revolver that's compensating for something to shoot some cells.
Y-Files already did an episode on this like a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was
Oh
scary.
no, no. The first I make that joke, but the first injection of foreign material into cells that way was done literally by taking a revolver and shooting it in with specialized bullets.
Mhm.
It was like,
Okay, and Brian said he was wrong.
It was 100 kilograms, right? 181 kilos.
Well, he says it was 780 or so, yeah, 790 in 1930 world record. Okay, so it's still a pretty significant jump in 100 years, and that's just pure training. Probably no dietary.
Oh no, that's not true at all.
Well, no, actually, you're right.
Diet.
In 100
jump
years,
in diet.
we have changed a lot of things.
no, back then they
Supplementation was not a thing. Supplementation was not a thing 100 years ago, and now even amateur athletes supplement, all the time, all the time.
But you gotta be careful. I was just watching a thing on how a lot of supplements are like just totally fake. That they lie on the packaging.
Well, you've got to get it from a reputable source, and it's always true.
No. I mean like reputable source supplement companies just like out and out lie on their packaging on what's in the fucking thing. I'll find the video and send it to you, Bo.
And without changing what humans are made out of and things like that, we will come up with probably an upward limit in the next 100 years or so. But I think when that happens, then they will focus more on making people bigger so they can therefore be stronger. Would you think?
Well, I don't know about bigger, but like it's material limitations mostly, like the muscle guy thing I was seeing, where the guy literally like ripped ripped most of the ligaments off of his out of his shoulder or whatever, trying to lift something. Like he was already with an arm like that big around, right? It's the literal materials.
Right, but I mean, okay,
the
look at it like
bone
this.
and the flesh, and
If you had an 8-foot human who didn't have any of the usual problems,
it's the same issue. It's not the height or the size of the person; it's the materials you're made out of.
Well, you have anybody that does like serious strength training and condition knows that they can. You also condition your ligaments and tendons.
Yes,
when you condition your muscles.
Like that's what I'm saying.
They condition their bones too the same way. Lifting weights will condition your bones. It's why they have lower incidence of osteoporosis and osteoarthritis.
Yeah, and we've already hit the upward limit of the max you can do with that in those cases. That's what I'm saying. It's like you need to start having the synthetics with that. Is how some animals can leach metals and integrate it into their bones and all that crap. You need to start like having that kind of stuff into people if you want to get anything higher.
Which, I mean, how long do you think it's going to be before we actually try that?
I'm sure it's being done now with guys like DARPA and the CCP. But you won't have access to any of that stuff.
No.
Yeah. Well, 500 years from now, probably you will. Well, not you. You'll be dead. Well, you won't be dead. We'll be dead.
Well, 500 years from now, not even that. 200 years from now, that could have become so widespread that they're not even doing it anymore.
Yeah, it's just
on purpose because it's just already happened.
Yeah. Well, it was a trend that went out of favor like 300 years ago or some shit like that.
And because of it, it's boosted humanity up to the next level. Let's say, just baseline, because your grandparents did this thing and it was all the rage, and everybody else's grandparents did the same thing and started eating this or injecting that or what have you.
And then we all end up like Khan from Star Trek.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
but gayer. Because everything is always gay.
I don't know. One of them was Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't know if you can get much more gay than that.
That is true.
I mean, Ricardo Montalban, not gay. Benedict Cumberbatch. In fact, I asked one of my gay friends at work, my gay work colleagues. I said, "Is Benedict Cumberbatch gay?" He said, "I don't think so. I think he's just British."
Okay.
Oh.
So let's move over to dexterity.
Dexterity. Well, like I saw that guy that I was just talking about that like fucking nearly ripped his arm off, lifting shit. He was not dexterous at all. That guy could not clap his hands together. He was so fucking big.
Okay,
How
and
do you judge this? We don't even really have. Life is not an RPG, and we don't have a way to really quantify dexterity. For example, dexterity is more than just using your hands. Dexterity is the ability to dance. Dexterity is the ability to drive a car. Dexterity is like so many things that we're not even talking about.
Hold on just 1 second. Let me pull this out because I want to.
Dexterity is the ability to box or do a martial art.
Well, I think in where is it? Where is it? Here we go. I believe for this particular game's sake, they also include agility as part of dexterity, which I think really should be a separate thing because they are a separate thing. But for argument's sake, let's double check and see if they are in fact lumped together real quick.
Okay, I sent you that video.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
For the record, I don't supplement aside from being on a low sugar, high protein diet. That's
Well, information
the
is
limit
always
of my.
nice to have.
No, it is. But I do have a lot of friends that do supplement, mostly because they've got to get whether they're recovering from an injury or just trying to get to that next level.
Yeah. But it's good to know like what supplements are actually doing the things they say they're doing.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Let's back up. In Traveler, a traveler's physical strength, fitness, and forcefulness. Okay, I think we covered that. Dexterity, physical coordination, and agility, reflexes.
Physical coordination. There you go. So if you're doing if you're like, I don't know, if you're a professional wrestler and you're trying to maneuver yourself to put somebody in a chokehold, that requires dexterity.
Yeah.
Which is a lot different than the dexterity required to be a surgeon and move a scalpel on a straight line.
That's why I think they should be two separate stats. But for simplicity,
I know it's why real life is not an RPG. I mean, we're talking about real life stuff, right?
Well, yeah, but we have to be able to integrate them into our RPGs. We have to have a baseline.
Well, okay, but if you're doing that, if you're integrating into a baseline, what you're doing, it doesn't really matter what the score is once you've established that baseline. Because if I say a strength 12 is a guy that can bench press 400 pounds, but then I've got to say, no, now strength 12 is a guy that can bench press 500 pounds. Everything is relative, and the challenges all have moved up relatively. I've got to make the aliens or the monsters or the mutants or the zombies, I've got to make them that much stronger to maintain verisimilitude and challenge in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so
that
it doesn't really matter
like,
what you call it then.
A skill system, right, where you want the stats to be for each individual thing, and then you end up with that problem that Omenau had with your game there, Bo, which was like.
No, the problem that Omenau had with my game is because again, it's the old school primer. He wanted to make a roll. I said, okay, tell me what you want to do. And he didn't want to. He said, no, my stat does it for me. That's the difference between a new school RPG and an old school RPG.
Yeah.
And I cite the old school primer, page 1, for crying out loud.
I'm just going by what he said his problem was to me. Okay, so
sure.
Yeah, and it wasn't it was what a skill does, not what a stat does.
Yeah.
But so, do you think? Let's go back in time. We'll use 100 years ago. Do you think people are more coordinated and more dexterous now than they were?
I think we are the exact same.
You think
with
so?
that. Like that, there's a lot of things that like we attribute the things we are doing to the improvement of who we are as a people. When no, we're the same material. We're just being put into different molds.
You don't think?
Right? It's like if you have a tray of cookie dough out in front of you, and you have a cookie mold of a Christmas tree and a cookie dough of a gingerbread man. It's the same fucking cookie,
Hmm, okay.
regardless of the shape you
What
put it in.
about the extremes? The best
Well,
of
they
100
they
years ago.
are extremes though, and it's still the shape you're putting the mold
No,
into.
they develop skills and attributes. I think that people
It,
have developed skills and attributes. But if we're talking about people, I think people are probably worse because they don't do things anymore that really require. We all we do is sit in front of screens on the
and
average. There
develop
are people
fake
that go do
skills.
things. There are people that
Yeah,
get up
that's what
every
I'm
day
kind of
and go to the
focusing on.
gym.
I'm kind of
Yeah.
focusing on the
Or like
exceptions,
take up
not the
real
rule,
world hobbies.
Yeah, there are
because
people that do take up real world hobbies. There are people that go to the gym or go to the golf course
Mhm.
or whatever they
or or
do.
or take up carpentry or
Yeah, sure.
it's why I push uh, on my show that the writing group thing is because that has real results. Playing an RPG is fun and all, but it's still like it's pen and paper video games.
Mhm.
That the outcome is still a fake thing.
Sure.
Uh, it's fun. I love doing it, but I do it to exercise that part of my brain that gives me ideas for writing stories, not you
Right.
know
Not the other way
I,
around.
I, I want something real to come out of something I'm doing. I'm sick and tired of like all the hobbies I've had in the past where it's just been useless circle jerking
Oh, sure.
over nothing.
Right.
It's like that's the problem with a lot of hobbies these days. They're the equivalent of fucking masturbation.
Right. That's
It's
again, that's
fake.
why I
It's
do the
just
things that I do too because I
yeah.
mean, this is like as far as my hobbies go, this is like at the bottom of
Yes,
what
but
I do.
still, that miniature is real. It exists in your
Sure.
hand.
No, that's true, but I mean, this is what
Yeah,
I do to pass the time while I talk to you guys.
yeah.
Right.
And I'm
Well, what about the exceptions? Okay, the best. Let's go with like pianist.
But
Okay.
still, it's like a unique, dedicated craft.
Mhm.
Like
But
unless you're gonna do something like freaking Gattaca, where you had the guy born with an extra finger so he could play
extra finger.
something. Uh,
Mhm.
Deep reference. I like it.
that
Mhm. Yeah, well,
nobody
that
else
plays a big
could.
part in the inspiration for this discussion. Actually, that movie and something else that I'm working on. Uh, Incredibly inspiring because I do believe that right now it may be like a really horrible example, like our current generation or current timeline where we're right now the last 20 to 40 years, let's say, where people got to quote my favorite one of my favorite quotes, good times make weak men.
Mm.
Okay, if we went through an incredibly horrific time, like from tomorrow for a decade, let's say, we might
Hmm.
see a complete, erasure of the weaknesses that we're living through right now, being replaced by new heights of human accomplishment because of those hard times.
Well, we're heading into them. We're heading into our generation's industrial revolution as we speak,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's who embraces the AI and who doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
right? Are you going to be the luddite that you see so many people
Mm-hmm.
uh, like talking about now? It's
Refusing to,
like
use it to some benefit in their
advantage,
life as opposed to
yeah,
shunning it like the plague.
yeah. And
And
I've even seen that breaking down in some circles.
oh yeah, I mean,
Uh,
we have a mutual friend, no names, kind of one of the least likely people to embrace it, but it's been a very helpful tool for this individual for a bunch of different reasons, and the art that they come up with is awesome, and it is because of that person's unique perspective and desires from the desired results from it, that
Yeah.
they're able to create some imagery that's
Yeah.
got a lot of merit. And
Write a
a
name
year ago,
in Discord or in the private chat.
right, a year
I don't
ago,
know who you're talking about.
well, you know
I
this person.
expect AI to put me out of a job in the next generation.
Could could
That's a
Yeah.
different animal.
Mhm.
I mean, it won't put
Yeah.
people out of work. It'll put trained people out of work.
But and I'm not just
Yeah.
talking, um,
Well, I don't know that there's always going to be somebody that's needed to like verify with experience on what's going on, and I wouldn't trust that. Like
right,
even
but
still, you have like the technician that has to know what the machine is doing in the auto
mhm.
plant.
I know
You know,
until the AI makes itself.
Well,
yeah.
I think
That's the next
you're
step.
it would be nice to clarify when you're talking about AI, you're talking about walking around machines like the Butlerian Jihad kind of
No,
thing,
no,
right?
not necessarily. Imagine a computer on a cart, and in that cart is a keyboard, a monitor, and a pill dispenser. And a person pushes that cart around. The computer does the assessment. The computer does the analysis. The computer dispenses the medication. An untrained person takes the pill out of the machine and gives it to the patient.
All of which it can I literally, if you go to Walmart, you can see machines moving up and down the aisles that don't even need a human to do what you're talking about.
Well,
If you give it a mechanical arm and things like that, you could literally have walking around or rolling around machines that do everything.
Sure.
I would be less concerned about your job in the immediate future, Bo, or like even the next 20 to 50 years.
Well,
But like warehouse staff are going away fast. They're
oh,
Oh
already
yeah,
absolutely.
working on automated warehouse.
stockers is some of the most
Uh,
menial jobs.
yeah,
Uh,
and
Well,
it's
are
like
yeah, it starts at the bottom, moves its way up. But I mean, think about a robot surgeon that can have a degree of precision that a person couldn't have.
well, they already got robots, but they have to be teleoperated. And yeah, okay, so the teleoperation starts to fade away.
Mhm.
Um, you just get like the guy that's sitting there like authorizing each his fingers tapping the authorization button for each next step instead of like moving the Waldo. Uh,
And before you know it, you're idiocracy.
Hmm.
yeah, well, they have to know that the authorization is valid. Um, but no, you'll have like an underclass of people that will get stupider, but then you'll have a lot more people learning things because they want to, right?
Hopefully.
Um, that was like why I poo pooed Nerdy Ogre the other day when he was calling Star Trek communism on my show. I was like, no, it's a society based on people doing what they want to do instead
Yeah,
of what they have to do for base.
it's a true post scarcity economy.
Yeah, you take the high Maslow's hierarchy of needs and take the bottom two layers and remove them completely,
Right.
right? Like your base starting level is layer three, because the new version, which was shelter, food, water,
Survival, right?
yeah, the basic survival. That's just taken care of as a given. You don't have to like work hard for that.
Mhm.
And there's already strives to do that in the West as it is. Like the biggest impedance to that is your fucking country. Uh, just on basic economic schemes. Um, yeah, but yeah, and
Do
then
you think um should we, oh my god.
yeah,
Sit. Come on. If you're gonna visit, you gotta behave. Come on.
yeah, and if
Anyways, this is
people,
my dog. He's being a
yeah,
baby.
yeah,
He's lonely. He's a good boy. Do you think that Okay, come on, enough of you.
Too heavy.
He's just too striking.
Okay, so we got the one dog 7. He's like half the size of that one,
Uh-huh.
and probably weighs the same amount.
Oh, really?
He's not fat either. He's just fucking thick.
What kind of dog?
Is some sort of Shih Tzu hybrid,
Oh, okay.
something else. I don't know what the other dog was. He was a mutt.
Yeah, mutts are the best,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Again, with like our discussion, I think that at some point there we're going to see not
And I
necessarily
think
the gray goo, that we talk about, the complete
yeah.
homogenization, but maybe sort of a Benny
Just
Gesserit kind
nanos.
of mentality where breeding the just the right ethnic groups together will create new ethnic groups that are potentially well suited for certain things
Well, I
versus
don't know about well suited, but like if anyone's breeding ethnic groups, it's to make them more compliant. Just look up the Melungeon. Go look up what a Melungeon is.
that is the current trend right now here on Earth, but
Yeah.
we're postulating what uh, might happen in
Do you know what a
hopefully
Melungeon is?
no.
You should look it up.
What are you doing? Get out of there! Get the hell out of there! That's trash.
You've met a Melungeon, most likely.
Okay,
Yeah.
you have to put that in Discord, and I'll look that up later.
Okay.
Um, that that once we get past this current phase humanity is in, if we are to continue on for hundreds of years, we will have to uh, get over some of the 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 weak men created by the good times, because we will go into uh, eventually the hard times creating strong men, and maybe someday we will maybe break that cycle when we finally actually take to heart that whole adage and the way it works in a cyclical fashion, that eventually through logic and understanding and an overall goal of betterment, that we may see some of the characteristics we see in some of our favorite science fiction stories of the
The next
future.
shadow is going to lead us in a rousing course of kumbaya.
Hey,
Yeah.
we either get better or we get a lot worse.
No,
Wouldn't you think?
yeah, I don't think we have any control over it. I think we're going to get a lot worse, but that's a different
Yeah.
discussion for different. That's for a discussion on dystopianism.
Sure, sure.
Well, there's definitely going to be like periods of dystopianism in the future. There
Right,
just hasn't been. There hasn't been a period of 500 years at any time in human history that hasn't had a chunk of dystopian
hmm
like hellishness in it. Like fuck,
right.
we're
No,
less than 500 years from the Dark
it's
Ages.
And I think we do have something akin to that in the timeline that we worked on for the next 500
Yeah.
years, that could bring about uh, the breaking of that cycle potentially. Maybe not. Maybe it's something that it is like the wall undefeatable, and we'll never see that. It'll just keep rolling along, and every couple of decades we're back where we started, along that wheel.
Yeah. Just like Robert Jordan told us about the wheel of time.
Uh-huh. So the next stat is endurance. um, I could see that one because of a lot of factors, mostly technology and success, that endurance is something that could more than likely, of the first three physical stats, be the one that's going to have a lower average.
Yeah.
Just
the thing about endurance is, though, of all the attributes so far, it's the easiest one to change.
I know.
It can change somebody's endurance in 6 months.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you can do it in like 30 seconds. You just like stab them in the kidney or something.
Oh, well, sure, if you give you a big enough adrenaline dump, but I mean,
No, I
could
mean
change-
like literally, like you want to knock out someone's endurance permanently. Just give them one little knife wound.
Yeah. Yeah, and then suddenly it's at a negative score as opposed to a 2. Sure.
Yeah.
But I don't see.
Okay, you're gonna be in the hospital for the next I don't know 3 to 9
6
months, and when you get out, you ain't gonna be able to run for shit anymore.
Because it almost seems like a class structure is almost inevitable, where you have the elites
What do you mean for like? When hasn't there been a class structure?
but instead
Yeah.
of it being um, you can have people right now in different
It's
class
only not
structures.
overt because you're deliberately wearing blinders and you have been trained to your whole life.
No, what I'm getting at is right now you can have people from different class structures with similar to vastly different physical attributes or maybe even mental attributes, but in a
Sure. I mean,
more
even Stephen King wrote about that when he in The Running Man, right? Is the Bachman novel about how living in the slums, the wealthy got to breathe clean air, the people in the slums got to breathe, radioactive air.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
but like right now you can
I
have
much preferred the Long Walk over Running Man or Rage. Rage was a good Bachman novel.
what I mean is like right now you can find people with let's just call it high scores in both, let's say, castes, of or tiers of humanity, and you could also find people in the highest tiers with really low stats, and people in the low tier with really high stats. But in the future, I could see where the classes becomes even,
More
more.
stratified.
Yeah, right. Where the people in the low tier have low stats, and the people in the high tier have high stats because it's been engineered that way.
Hmm.
And there is no choice and no escape unless maybe if you are tested and found out that you actually have high stats but you're in a low tier, maybe you do get elevated just by sheer virtue of genetics
Interesting.
or
little H.G. Wells action going on there.
or
Yeah.
Gattaca or another
What,
story that
what's
is
the
out there.
one? What's the one where they made the movie and it had Samwise in it? Uh, what's the name of the character? Fucking
Sean Astin, what he was
yeah,
in a movie?
Sean Astin was in the movie where that happened. Fuck, I can't remember the name of it.
I'm not in any position to IMDb him, the actor.
Sean
How about
Astin.
my
I'm doing that right now.
Okay.
I've mentioned it before.
But I was also thinking, like with endurance, and some of the physical stats, there may be no need for not just the average person, but a huge swath of the overall percentages of the population to never need above average stats. You know what I mean? That at some point the elite may decide or try to engineer only they get to have that.
sure, well, they could breed people down
Hmm.
uh, to make them more compliant. You could
Well,
use some. You could use
not
genetics to
just that
change
on the
somebody's personality for crying out loud.
not just that on the cynical level, but that it's just really not necessary. Your life is going to be, you're a good little cog in the machine, and you'll never need a high strength. So don't worry about it. You're never ever going to come into a situation where you're going to ever need to lift more than 100 pounds. And if you do, that's like once a
Yeah.
month maybe.
Yeah, where the elite would like get that so they wouldn't have to work out and still be able to lift like 500 pounds or whatever.
I'm sure
Hmm.
that'd be easy to
But
do.
yeah,
Right. And
no, I
the
mean
average
like
citizen would
they could live like obese motherfuckers but still be super fit and
and,
I'm
and the
sure they
average person
but they
could
do like
easily
metabolism.
look at it as
yeah,
a blessing to never have to work that hard.
yeah.
That we don't need it, so we've got our three hots, a cot, and unlimited access to, whatever
VR porn.
entertainment. Well, you're right. I wasn't going to say that,
Sex
but
bots.
Yeah.
whatever,
No, they can't afford no sex bots, man.
whatever your particular,
Well, that's
interest
like the
might.
opium for the masses, right? Like
Exactly.
like that's why porn is such a deluge.
Insidious beast.
It's an opiate, right? Like
Sure.
that's why it's free. Like you can't tell me it's a great economic motivator. They give it away for fucking free.
Right. And as far as I
Except
know,
for the chicks. Except for the chicks at OnlyFans.
Well,
They sell
yeah,
theirs.
but you know what I mean. Like,
Oh, sure. You can always find enough free if you go looking.
yeah.
I don't know how that works, but
Well, you get so you get so disillusioned from reality. You get so separated from the real thing that when you become lonely and disjointed
Hmm.
from existence, now you're seeking like human connection, and that's how that market works. Is they give the illusion of being able to contact that person during live streams,
Sure,
Right.
it's a parasocial relationship.
yeah,
Sure,
and
it sounds more like
but
a
that
YouTube's
parasitic.
not any
But
different at a lower level.
well,
So
there's a reason why it's called a parasocial relationship because it's
mhm.
like a parasitic, right?
That's exactly what I said.
Um,
It seems it's insidious.
yeah, and it's engineered to be that way.
Mhm.
Um, and it's a feedback loop, and if we can't do anything about it because it'd be anti-capitalist to make fucking things like OnlyFans illegal.
well, it would be a violation. No, who cares about capitalism? It's a violation of the First Amendment.
Yeah, well, there are plenty of things that are a violation of the First Amendment that are done.
Yeah, but it's the canary in the coal mine.
Yeah, I think it's the reason why you want to have like that. It's okay to violate political speech, but it's not okay to
No, it's
violate
not okay
fucking
to violate
smut.
speech at all. Don't have that
But
argument with me.
no, that
I'm a
it
libertarian.
happens all the time in your country, man.
Actually, I'm a pretty strict capitalist. What we need to do is make the government less powerful, not make the corporations more powerful.
Yeah, I can see that. So now, will you stop? Come on. We're at the halfway point. What do you want? The doors are open. You can go. You're not coming up in my lap again. I'll pet you, but that's all you're getting. Now we hit the mental characteristics of the traveler system, that being intelligence, education, and social standing. Obviously, social standing. What do you want? Will you guys give me a second?
Social standing is as important as it's ever been. I don't think that's changed at all.
I don't know. You can get away with being a lot more degenerate now than you could even 30 years ago in the 90s.
Well, if you find your, you've got to find your tribe. There's still a lot of people that don't tolerate that kind of, behavior in what we used to call polite company.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one is intellect. A traveler's intelligence and quickness of mind.
No.
The movie, which was based on a book of the same name, was Harrison Bergeron.
Now he's in.
You've probably read it or seen the movie.
Just
If
leave
not,
the
you
door
should.
open a little so he can get in if he wants.
Here's the problem we have with education now. It's a truism that because people are learned, they think they're wise.
Yeah,
And
well,
they think that because they have a degree, they think that they're smart.
Well, yeah, that's
that and the value of those degrees are a lot less than they were even in 2000, right? Like,
exceedingly worthless. Every year they get more so, and
well, it's like
we'll see what happens.
you know something's up when like Yale and Harvard start removing Shakespeare from their English department, right? And it's like most of the fucking words in the English language were coined by the motherfucker.
Uh-huh.
Like,
So for this, I'm gonna go with problem solving as a major uh, uh, function of the intelligence stat, right?
yeah,
What a character can figure out on their own, because that's probably what you're going to be using in rolling against that stat for on those occasions, is to try to figure out something that maybe the player couldn't for whatever reason, more so than a fantasy world. A world of the future is going to involve problems that are a lot more complicated, I think, than you would in a fantasy RPG, unless you're dealing with like very high architecture or magic, and since that's really not a component of a normal average sci-fi game. Do you think people are going to get better at that? Obviously, we're on a horrific downward slope right now.
um, yeah, we're definitely gonna be going down, down in some departments, right? Like personal health and things like that. But I also see there being like a near future, like maybe 175 years out. I don't know, probably smaller. Like how fast was the Industrial Revolution's impact on basic
Mm.
living standards? It was about that long, right? Like 75 years or so, and then you know, so like the things that are going to be developed with AI in the way of infrastructure, like the infrastructure changes
Mm.
to our day to day lives. So
Because it's
that's
one thing
that's going to
we have
change.
to take take into account is that since we are assuming that it is a science fiction future,
Yeah.
that they have to be successful at some point of overcoming some of the pitfalls we see right now.
Well, not necessarily successful in overcoming them, but adapting to them.
Right.
Right. Like
Well, they
what are
cannot.
the adaptations?
You cannot have a true sci-fi game if everywhere you go it's idiocracy.
Eh,
You're playing. I think.
I think that would be an interesting game if like you were playing like the 1% in Idiocracy, right? Like you know, or even the dumb guy that's just trying to like figure out what's going on.
The what's his name, Fry from Futurama.
Yeah,
Um, but the thing is uh, a lot of we're kind of trying to stay away from the pure dystopian sci-fi in order for it to be, you know, it's a classification of science fiction usually,
well,
and we didn't really sort of sign on for that.
yeah, well, even if there's like a sheer dystopian in the next 200 years, the time scale is so far out. Those are the two links that the one to the movie and
Okay,
that Melungeon article. If the audience wants
okay.
to look into those, that just popped up in the sidebar. Uh,
I mean, unless you're running a sci-fi world where artificial intelligence runs everything, and the
yeah,
people don't need to.
Paranoia. Now we're playing Paranoia.
yeah,
Yes.
Right?
yes.
Yes.
Are you familiar with that game, Justin?
I only third hand,
Okay, okay,
but I like everything I've heard about it.
yes. So, for
I'm,
argument's sake, we're going to assume that uh, humanity has somehow adapted to or overcome uh,
Yeah.
the biggest hurdle. Do you think it's possible for larger swaths of humanity to become essentially more intelligent than we were in the past?
Mm,
possible.
possible, but I wouldn't bother with it. I just assume that it's like uh new boss, same as the old boss kind of thing. That way it's not too fucking alien. We already got like gas cloud aliens and
Sure. Because
Martian
see, one of the
she-bam
things I
Amazons.
I always think about with these sort of things is that uh, so many people get to stand on the shoulders of giants and learn from their mistakes, and we have people in society today that seem to be smarter than some of the smartest people back in the old days, just because of the experience the world has gone through, and that they get to, pick and choose uh, from the better aspects and the better, pieces of information, and the learning. As a species, we've learned and come a long way since, you know, caveman or even the
Well,
industrial revolution. We've got so much more around us to work with that it allows us to become better at
uh,
whatever we focus
Again,
I,
on.
that's specialization.
it's
Mhm.
specialization and perception,
Yeah.
right? Like you're seeing like the lesser of the past, so you're assuming that the people are worse. And like, yes, like there are massive evolutionary boosts from the fucking caveman, but
Mhm.
we're not even the same fucking species as that guy was.
Right, right.
Right.
But even from 50 to 100 years ago, uh,
Yeah. Like you keep asking for like an answer to a question that you're just not going to get. You're begging the question now.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question then. Okay. Let me an example and a question. We all have cell phones, but one person on the planet could make one.
make
No,
one.
no one person could make a cell phone. Yeah, like
Well,
not
from
not
raw
not not
resources,
not just no,
right?
not raw resources. Like design one. What one person could could
No. You can go
invent
on
a cell phone?
YouTube. You can go on YouTube and watch a guy design a cell phone from scratch, but he's not going to be making each and every
Each component.
individual component, right? Like
Mhm.
from raw resources to finished product, you can't do it. There's too much complexity there, but
Right.
you can like order a glass screen from Timu or AliExpress. You can order circuits and
What do you
microphone
think?
components and things like that, and do that. A
Pretty
3D print a case, but like because there are people that do that kind of stuff,
Yeah,
but
because we do have people
from
who still invent things from scratch that are market improvements.
yes, but they're like that's the thing is one out of 1,000 innovations are actually innovative. The rest are just like enhancements on existing revolutions, right?
Mhm.
And there hasn't been any super innovative thing like revolutionary thing except for large
AI.
language models, right? In a fairly long time.
Yeah, most
Even
of our
like
technology is developed in
smartphones,
AI.
even smartphones are based on like technologies that are from the 80s,
Yeah,
At
right?
least, yeah.
It's like 3D printers are older than I am, for fuck's
yeah.
sakes.
Digital
Right.
cameras are older than everybody here.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for Kodak being an idiot, they would have been the dominating force in that. But they
Right.
Yep.
fucking
That's a different
They
animal.
insisted on
yeah.
getting every penny, every shekel they could have out of every patent they owned to.
To the detriment of their own company.
Yep.
And
Oh,
that's it's
are we
even
eating?
like even with 3D printing. Like the
Yeah.
reason why 3D
All
printers
right.
were
I gotta
not
go. I gotta
on
go to dinner.
okay, a
Take
party
care,
on
Bo.
Bo, party
Hey,
on
see, painted this guy tonight.
sweet.
Not bad.
Nice.
Yeah,
I didn't touch a paintbrush tonight, but
yeah.
the conversation was that engaging. I'll talk to you in a couple of days or sooner. Bo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, message me about that thing,
Which
yeah,
thing?
the game thing.
Oh, okay.
yeah. Message him about messaging you about that thing after you log off, bro.
Just in case I forget, which is entirely a possibility.
That's why I was telling you to do that.
Thank
I
you.
still want to know the name of that person you were talking about.
Oh,
earlier.
you know the person.
But I can't put a name to it. Is it Bear?
No.
Oh, then put it in, write it to me in Discord.
Oh, okay. I can do that. So, personally, I think that
Knows the
along with all the other uh,
Got it
improvements that we'll see,
right here.
is that we will see. Basically, I'm picturing, the mentats from Dune.
Yeah, like I could see genetically engineering someone like that, or like implanting brain bots or whatever. But like raw human, right? Like that's the thing in Dune is there was like a genetic change happening. There was an evolution happening to humanity going on
Mhm.
in the background.
Mhm. Yeah, because in no way do I think that if we were left to our own devices as is right now, we'd ever make it to the sci-fi utopias or even scenarios that we dream of. We have so many issues right now
Well,
that it's just we've got to overcome a lot of things, not just societally, but physically, genetically.
that's what made
Um,
original um that's what made original Star Wars so appealing. It was the realism of the world, and it's like everything since then has been tearing that down in that story, right? But
yeah,
uh,
it was literally a breath of fresh air when it came to every character in just let's just say the first movie. Every character
a real person.
was
Well, they didn't
meticulously
have to be. They
crafted.
were just real people.
I'm certain that Lucas went
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
and
Lucas
did
did not do shit. You can look at documentaries. He was a fucking slacker with everything. Yeah.
really.
Lucas is
Well, then
well,
who
he
created the
did, but they're just
characters?
like fucking hackney, like they're bare minimum tropes. But the fact that they weren't so prim and proper and artificially fake, like you saw so many times, made them real people. Right? They were allowed to like
Hmm.
ad lib the little joke here and do human things, but Lucas wasn't like overcrafting that. He was just like writing down shit, and then other people were like, "Yeah, tweak this."
So
Yeah,
he
he
just got
got very
lucky, is
fucking lucky. He got
what
very
you
fucking lucky. His wife at the time was a better fucking
okay.
writer than him. I will go with that.
Oh, I've heard that argument a million times, and I don't doubt it. The fact that he allowed to happen what did
Yeah.
happen, and the fact that he let go of a franchise like that just because
Well,
dollar
I think
signs, just
it,
dumb.
it was the fandom being pissed at the prequels. Were like Lucas being so lucky in the 70s and 80s caused him to start smelling his own fucking farts. And as a fart
Oh yeah,
sniffer, it went to his head.
and that has detrimental effects. So the next stat in Traveler is education, a measure of a traveler's learning and experience.
Um, I would base that mostly on their class situation, and then like have a role on that on
Mhm.
top of that, because you get those rich kids that get the high education and then snort it all away. Um,
Mhm.
but like you still can turn that around. You get like a Paris Hilton or whatever, who
Mhm. Or I was going
well
to say
well
Britney
Britney Spears
Spears.
destroyed
I
her
noticed
fucking.
that. No, not Britney Spears. It was Jessica Simpson. Excuse me. She went from, or even another
Like
one. I
you're
think you
talking
could
about
even.
people who actually made themselves. That's why I used Paris Hilton for an example. She
Well,
came from money. Paris Hilton is like the heiress to the
mhm,
Hilton hotel chain.
right.
Uh, which is like one of the largest ones on the planet, from what I understand. I could be talking about my ass on that, but
Well, when I mentioned Jessica Simpson, I was talking about the fact that I remember when she first came on the scene. Maybe it was an act, and she was a genius uh, in doing so. But she seemed to learn a lot because she was able to pursue things because of the vast fortune she had accumulated. She was able to, instead of just like you said, snort it away, actually do
well,
intelligent things with it. Susan Summers from Three's
yeah,
Company was the same way. Um, she was kind of a dingbat in the beginning, and she went on to do some great things with her life by putting that money
yeah.
into improving herself mentally and uh,
Well, I use Paris
social.
Hilton because like she was in the path to throw away her family fortune, and then
Right.
like at the last minute she just turned it around and turned that whole thing into a brand, and now is making millions on like stupid T-shirts and purses and shit like that.
Mm,
Yeah, ah. You can buy a Paris Hilton fridge for fuck's sakes. Yeah.
really? Okay. Well, if people want to buy that sort of thing, then nice, I guess,
Yeah.
for her. Uh, I don't usually go by brands like that, but
Well, yeah, it's for specialized things, but yeah, but you know what I mean. It's
mhm,
you can take the family fortune. You've seen this so many times. The person's got everything going for them, and then and they just
then they
blow it,
blow it.
which is an important part of like the social contract. You have to have that give and take. Fortunes have to be able to go up and come down. It's when the system starts preventing people from being able to get up that revolution happens. It's never the lower
Mhm.
classes going up, it's the middle class going up, right? You have to be able to fight to the middle class and be able to fight to the upper class, and it's
Which we'll get into in a minute when we actually go into the social standing. Education, I think that um, people are on average more so than now going to be almost prohibited from going above a certain level. There's no reason, whether it's by law or just by
well, it's already
clever
happening,
design, where it's
right?
like, well,
But
you don't
it's
need
on
to.
racial grounds. That's why
Wait,
I fucking
wait,
harp on it all the time.
hold on, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like right here. You don't have to know
Well,
it. You got one of
it's
these.
not even that. It's like you can't. It doesn't matter what your grades are. You can't get into college because you're not eligible for the loans because we've issued them to
Reasons.
minority group X only this
Mhm.
cycle.
Well, I mean, we know a lot of
Yeah,
people in our circle
yeah,
that didn't go
but
to college, but are incredibly well
like
self-taught.
it restricts your ability to enter certain classes of society though,
Hmm.
and you might want
Hmm.
to enter those, like the fact that more and more uh, we get these minority deals in uh, means less and less of the primary group being in like the social class of news and government and like the actual levers of power, right? It's like, so you're gonna have that. You're gonna have like fucking literal goddamn race wars. The Handmaid's Tale, by the way, was a race war story. It wasn't man versus woman. It was a race war story, and it was about breeding up in the novel. It was about breeding up a racial stock and purging. They took that out of the TV series because you can't you
I've
can't
neither
tell
read
that
nor watched
story
either.
in public anymore. But that's what it was originally. The Margaret Atwood book. Uh, that's why I was about to say earlier I prefer the Turner Diaries because it's the equivalent story. Yeah, just told from the other perspective. But yeah, so like you're gonna have that kind of stuff happen. It's if you're basing your world in the near future or distant future of this world dealing with these problems, it's like our governments are taking all the dystopian far right race war fiction from the 80s and saying, how can I make this happen?
I've been saying
Yeah,
that for decades,
it's
dude.
like
They took it as literally a
literally a
playbook.
fucking playbook. It's like
Um, for those of you who don't know, that would include Silent Running, Sun and Green, Rollerball,
those are the milk
Logan's
toast
Run.
versions
Um,
of the books you want to be reading. Those are the fucking milk toast versions of the books. You want Camp of the Saints, the aforementioned Turner Diaries, and there's a bunch of others that I'm not going to go into, but yeah,
those were the reason I bring those up so much is because um, they were so easy to come
yeah.
by in that era, and they could have easily. It was more likely that one of those could have influenced one of the people who's now
No,
got their hands on the
because like the two
levers.
books I mentioned are literally like framework. Not like if you squint sideways, they could be doing this. It's like they are doing this by the fucking numbers. Mass immigration into France
Right.
and
Well,
Europe,
when did those come
uh,
out?
60s and 70s. Like
Okay.
the mass immigration of Muslims and Africans into France is literally the premise of Camp of the Saints. Not hypothetically. That's what the
Right.
book is actually about.
Okay. Raven and I were talking about something
And they made a
similar to
movie
that.
of that. You can watch it
I
if
don't know
you
why
want.
she's not here. Um, there were some people who were, uh, I guess you'd call them whistleblowers, uh, a long time ago that talked about the specific steps, uh, and you can find the records of them before some of the steps happened. But they, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and here we are. And then there's a couple of more steps that are part of
Yeah,
that.
it's like
You know,
the
game.
Elders of Zion minutes that the Russians outlawed. Like everything in that's come to pass. Like within a 5-year variant of what was
Mhm.
on the list. Every fucking thing. Like
Yep.
World War
Hmm.
One, World War Two, mass immigration,
Yep.
homosexuality, porn everywhere. Like those are all on the list.
Yep.
Uh,
Hmm.
it's like, well,
What was it?
that's like
Did you see?
that's one of the
Uh,
reasons
uh,
why I always harp on like the bizarre sexual stuff in the game is because that's going to be everywhere, right? Like
oh yeah.
everywhere.
Even even believe it or not, L. Ron Hubbard,
Wrote like 900
in his
books.
decology, um, in the one decology that I'm familiar with, um, talked about how some of that deviance would be normalized uh, in the near or farther future uh, to make things so much more. Um, I don't know, just taken for granted. It's just like the norm. That's just so that nobody feels excluded ever. What was the book that Jackie pointed us out to. Was it we on
I don't
Connell's show?
remember.
Where you get the pink ticket, and that meant that someone wanted to do you, and you just did them, and you didn't question it because they filled out the proper paperwork.
Maybe maybe I missed that one. Uh, I will
It
look
was a
it
good
up
book.
though. Uh,
It's pre 1984, pre Brave New World by a Russian author. I think we have a copy. If not, I'll ask Jackie. He'll know. But it was really bizarre how even back then, because this was like in the
yeah.
1920s, uh, you know, people could picture
Well,
how.
if it was during the Soviets, like that was a big thing in early Soviet, like the Soviet Union was normalizing the like the random sexual stuff, and they even did that in
Yeah, yeah,
like
and you
post-war
were.
Germany. They were doing that. Like there was a point
Mhm.
where universities were actually encouraging the sexualization of children. Like like the governments were like trying that shit across because having sex with kids is anti-Nazism, and that's been state policy in most countries since the 30s.
That's insane.
Well, it tells you what the Nazis thought about having sex with kids.
As everybody should. It's so weird how um, anybody could think that the most intimate thing humanity's famous for could suddenly
Weapon
become
that's
the
used
exact
against you, and it's like
opposite
because those frameworks, those frameworks are
to where you don't even
yeah,
belong to yourself. You literally belong
yeah,
to the collective, and someone puts in a ticket. Guess what you're
yeah,
doing
and
Friday
it's
night.
like it's really fucking disgusting. And when we
Hmm.
become a bit better writers in our group, maybe we could explore these moral questions. 'Cause, right now, like in our writing thing, we're mostly like learning the base craft. We haven't really started taking on messages in story. I'm trying
Right.
to a little bit, but you know, writing about something is not the genre you're writing. It's the substance of the story. Um, but yeah, that shit. You should look up some of the social engineering that was done in. That's why I get really pissed when people start talking about fucking communism being like healthcare or fucking social security or whatever, because that's not what it was. It was like fucking dark, and when you start talking about it as like basic needs issues, you're 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 both shifting the blame of actual evil onto like good things and giving safe space for actual fucking the actual evil of communism, right? Like
Sorry, guys. I've been screwing up on the chat. I thought it would scroll for me, but I guess I have to keep track
yeah,
of it. Welcome to the show,
no, it
Prime.
just hasn't moved in a while. Um
Yeah, but I was stuck
oh
many
oh
messages
no, if you scroll
above.
down it stays down. Um
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like you know what I mean though, right? Like you
Yeah.
start talking about, oh, healthcare is communism. No, healthcare is socialism. There are many fucking types of socialism. Communism, and the reason why you hate communism isn't because of that. You hate it because like
Well,
they want they
there's a
want to
whole
make it
bunch of
okay.
reasons.
Like we is like an exaggeration. Like that thing you were saying from that book. I just looked it up. I'll give it a skim through in the next week or two. Um,
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
short audio
I'll
as
see if
well.
it's on YouTube then. If it's as old as you say.
I'm pretty sure it is because that's what we. I didn't read the actual
Okay.
book. I listened to the audio. It might have been taken down. It's been over a year, but the idea that um, that you don't have. Hey, what's
Ownership of
up? Speak of the
yourself.
devil. Um,
Hey, Connell. Hey, Connell.
Connell just popped
Hello,
in.
hello, hello.
Uh, that you lose the most intrinsic, basic, human rights, that being individuality. Uh, what the hell's the point? You're everything you do is promoting everybody but
Yeah.
yourself when you get really into it. And I'm
Yeah.
unique.
Well,
You're unique. Everybody we hang out with, uh, for good and bad, are unique, and I don't want to see that ever
well,
uh, turn into
yeah.
THX 1138.
There
That
is a
kind of,
limit to
you know,
uniqueness, but like the fact that you might be similar to someone else shouldn't allow other people to own your decisions or choices within a
mhm.
framework of decency. You know,
Yes, we are
uh, but then
absolutely, Connell. We are.
you could do like subsets, and like maybe there were times when that shit did happen, so that could influence the knowledge in the world. Maybe there was 100 years of that
Mhm.
kind of crap going on in
Well, that's
some
kind of what
area or territory.
that's the conclusion I've made over the course of this, because so much of the discussion was based on right now and how fucked up we are, that most people can't see
Yeah.
us getting better, and we have to have that catalyst, or we literally
Well,
can't
I would
have
love to see the cannibalism camps of
the
New York sometime in the year 2150.
well, I
Well,
don't
no,
want to
no,
see it
like
firsthand, and
in the game, right? Like it'd be funny if like there's a big lore.
yeah, because there has to be, with every great expansion in human history,
Yeah.
there's been a catalyst.
Well,
Whether we're familiar with it or not, there was something that drove us. Uh,
go on like Gemini AI or whatever that one is, the one that you get that that Google put out or whatever, the one that was doing all the like the black Nazis or whatever, or the black founding fathers. You know the one that because that one still exists and it's pretty good at like ideas and ask it to write a satirical history book from the future about how there were mass cannibalisms during the economic collapse in New York and see if it could like
mhm.
generate you like the titles and premises of each chapter and, and timelines and give it like the rough idea and just keep refining. It gets kind of moralistic, but you can do it for free. So and just have
Might
that
do,
might
might
be a
do.
project for like go into that document we created for the writing group later and write that down as a thing. Write fake future history book.
We
Yeah,
first
but
write it
you
down
know
on
what I
paper.
mean. Like we
Well,
could do that for 1 month. It's just like write a fake history book.
where are all my fucking writing utensils? And Kyle, if you want to
Ah,
join
just
us in about
let them in
20
now.
minutes,
Like it's just you and me.
well, I want to go over the last stat, which is
Yeah.
social standing.
Social standing. Like I think most of us are fucking losers, right? Most of the characters that we've developed are bottom rung douche weasels. Maybe middle class plebs, but that's about it.
Mhm. I think that as humanity does get further along, though, it will become even more and more structured
Yeah.
and stratified, uh, whether by design or necessity, or just a natural sort of quasi realization that that's what's best or what's even natural. Because if you look at, if aliens were to come down on the planet right now, they'd probably be baffled why we have people living, in such vastly different technological states across the
Well,
planet.
you're assuming that they would
There are
be
groups of people.
absolutely unified themselves, and that's like a sci-fi trope.
It is, but it could also be a biological situation if they were like insects. They
Yeah,
don't have, or they do have within certain hives. That's just the way it is. And here on Earth, we have people who literally choose to live, decades, if not centuries, uh, below the rest of the median tech level.
yeah.
And maybe that's uh, not an inherent human trait,
I
or
just
maybe it
want to
is something
say
that
they haven't
we
built or
have to.
maintained a single bridge in South Africa since 1994.
And there are other places. There's this one island I remember reading about where people aren't allowed to go, but there are
Yeah,
people running
they
around with
just
spears
kill whoever
and
shows
grass
up.
skirts, and
Yeah,
yeah, and we were like, okay, fine, you got your island, we'll leave you
yeah.
alone. You want to be like that? And other places, we've got the Amish who
Well,
refuse to do
the
certain things.
Amish choose that.
Um,
I have less problem with the Amish. Like, I think that
no, they're not
the
doing anything wrong, but there's people. There are literally maybe it's a gene or something. I'm simplifying it, but maybe there's something inherent in certain groups of people or certain people themselves who just prefer, maybe a simpler
yeah,
life, or something about that lifestyle speaks more to their soul. They the outdoorsmen, the survivalists, the people who want to live simpler, more self-sufficient lifestyles. We know people like that who want to do it themselves and want to be left alone, and large groups of people don't want to let that
hmm
happen because they want to be in control. There's a whole lot of people that want no part of
yeah,
being controlled. And if you think about it, if that's like a thing that you can never weed out, those kinds of people would be the perfect colonists, because you would get those people that would, you could put them on the ships, send them off to the planet. When they get there, they'll get everything's up and running, and then 2 generations down from them, you'll have people who are begging for cell phones and all the modern
yeah,
conveniences because of the cycle of good times make weak
yeah.
men.
I think that's over dramatized. Um, it's just that bad times kill weak men. Um, like really bad times, they'll either kill themselves or starve or get raided.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh,
But there's something to that whole cycle of of that adage that I really love. That's the hard times make
mhm.
strong men. And that perseverance that allows some people to rise above the shitty hand they've been dealt and become so much better because of it, as opposed to in spite of it.
Yeah, I'm expecting if we ever get this game off the get go to have to recreate a character after the third session because uh because I'm
Because
dead.
you're dead.
I really hope this game ends up like the Mystery Man, right? Where it's just like you know how
Or the losers, or so many of those other shows where the least
well, no,
expected are
you know the Mystery
exactly
Man,
what you
right?
need.
Like the comic, not the movie. Uh,
I
okay, so in
I
the
know the
comic,
movie.
it's like the average length of a character's endurance, and that was like 2 issues, and then they'd be like
Hmm.
replaced due to necessity.
Mhm.
Like
Okay.
the shoveler was the
Uh,
main character in the movie. He lasted one panel in the comic. One. He showed up to die.
Yep.
It's the shoveler.
So with social standing, I give you a little breakdown. You roll your 2d6, and with all these stats, they can go beyond 12. I'm not going to say easily, but it happens. And for social standing, at a social standing of 11, you're technically a knight, and 12 is a baron, 13 is a marquis, 14 is a count, 15 is a duke, and 16 is the emperor. And through fate and rolls and actions and things like that, all the stats can go up or down even before you start playing the character. You will not die before the first game. That's a misconception, and it's definitely not something that's really feasible in Mongoose
It
Second
could
Edition,
be
which we'll
done,
probably
but
be
it
using.
was an optional
Although we might
rule.
just use basic, right? But uh, it's funny how uh, in Traveler they really lean into the royalty above what you know. I mean, there's very few royalties left. Am I correct? On Earth right now,
I think
there's fewer now than I
70
think
or
there's ever
so
been.
out of the 210 or so countries. But most of them are pro
Mhm.
forma, like just like vestigial.
Right, right, or
Yeah.
just for show. They really hold no power, kind of thing.
Or,
And
or any power they do hold,
that's
they
not the
don't
case here.
use. Like technically, the British monarch still has veto on Parliament and stuff, but has that ever been used? Right, like the king could say, "I have no faith in the prime minister," and he would immediately lose his job. He'd be like, "Well, the king said you're fired, so we got to have elections, and you're not running at any given time." But does that happen? It should have
Mhm.
happened several times over the last 20 years. But, you know, punk ass bitches be punk ass bitches.
They really should have actually extended this chart all the way to the bottom. It would have been
Oh,
very helpful for this game. Knowing what a 3 is versus a 4. If you're going to go that in detail of Knight, Baron, Marquis, what's a 0? What's a 3? What's a 7?
yeah.
What's a 9?
That's just fucking lazy. I don't know the chart you're talking about, but
Yeah, I'll show it to you. It's literally just what I said. It's tiny. Um,
if you're
but
going to have a
in
stratification chart, you should go from the lowest to the top with no gaps.
yep,
Uh,
yep.
and from what you've listed, it sounds like they stop like just at the higher end of like the lower end of the top third. It's like
Yep,
who are the middle
literally,
managers and
because
what are their titles? Who is the underclass? What are their titles?
mhm.
Right.
What's the difference between a
Yeah.
1 and a 3?
Well, street urchin and store clerk, like, yeah.
Or criminal, or
Well,
outlaw,
it
prisoner,
sounds like they're all
escape
official
prisoner?
titles, right? So, uh,
Mhm. Well, even in like social credit scores, I'm sure they have it very well delineated.
this is another thing you
And
could
even
use. You could use AI for, right? Just um, I'm playing Traveler and it gives me these stats. Can you give me the equivalent for the lower end and give me definitions for each of them? And it will do that.
that'd be amazing if it knew and could do that
Most of the times
simply.
it can. You might have to like
That's
actually
pretty
write
amazing.
in the sections that are already in the book and then just have it extrapolate the rest of the
Mhm.
numbers. And it should
Gotcha.
do
because the one you sent me to work out that
Yeah.
poem for my game, uh, it did really well. There were some things, that I wanted or didn't like what it gave me, but the stuff that it gave me that I used,
Yeah,
I would never
and
come up with.
you can usually just like say I don't like the section and then reiterate what it said, and it'll give me three different options for that work in the context, or work this into it somewhere
Mhm.
around there, and
Yeah, well, I wanted to do
yeah,
some of the work, so the things that I didn't like, I tweaked, and I'm going to go through it one more time and see if I can't just tighten it up a little bit more. But it gave me some really good ideas of things and directions I could, move things so that
I love it.
the
I love it
that
when
it
we're
would make sense.
doing like outlines, right? Like that's why my outlines are always so neat, is because I'll take the things I want to do and then just like take this and make it look neat, right? And they'll order things and make it nice and clean.
Mhm.
I find it easier to like keep keep track of what I'm doing when things are neat, right? Because that's why we have those formats, so it's easier for you to visualize. And I ain't gonna write that
Mhm.
fucking format myself because it takes fucking work. Like work I'd rather be spending on other things. So, and then like obviously there's can you see any plot holes in what I've come up with? And there's always a fucking plot hole. There's always a fucking plot
Oh
hole,
yeah,
and it plugs that motherfucker up faster than you can say boo. You have to give him the
Connell, you
mic.
going to join us? Yeah. Yeah, if not, I'm going to shut her down because I don't want to leave Justin here while I go take a bio break
Wow,
and Shadwell Productions.
it's Shad.
That's
Whoa,
funny. I'm gonna actually have to
Shad.
use that.
Whoa.
It's just, Shadwell sounds more like something I could use as a company or something in a traveler game, or even in um, uh, a Call of Cthulhu game. I could see that. Maybe not the production, but
Shadwell
Shadwell
Industries.
Manor or Shadwell Estate. I could see that. I don't like putting myself in uh, my work at
Okay,
all,
Frank.
except the current thing I'm
Okay,
working on.
Frank.
What?
Yeah, I just guessing
Frank?
names now. I haven't bothered to look you up yet.
Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, I've seen a lot of
John.
people do it, and
You gotta tell me if I ever get
and
these right.
you may have
Is
already at
it
one point or
Frank?
another, but uh,
Is it
no, it's
John?
definitely not Frank.
It's
It's funny
John,
though.
everyone. His name's fucking
My
John.
name, uh, my name has almost every letter in the alphabet except F.
Your first name has
Yeah,
every letter in the alphabet.
no, my full first, middle, and last has almost every letter in the alphabet, and it has more
Wait.
letters in it
Your full name is like
than
20
it
letters
almost
long.
has more letters in the alphabet.
Your full name is like 20
What?
letters long.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah.
How many middle names do you have? Yeah.
How many middle names? Well, that would be telling now, wouldn't it?
Uh,
I was born Roman Catholic. I'll tell you that.
Okay. I got a couple too.
You got to, yeah. But yeah, because the characters that you guys are running are, you know, gonna be, low end of the social
Yeah. That's why you need to know what
hierarchy.
a 2 or a 3 is, because there ain't anyone
Mhm.
pushing 3.
Well, I am going to be kind and not make you roll down the line if you don't want to. That way, you can use your
Yeah,
Soch
my
as a dump
character's
stat
secretly emperor.
because you know. Okay, here's a character that kept running through my mind. I forget his name in Blade Runner. The guy who made the robots
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
simulacrums or whatever. The guy who played Daryl or Larry from Larry,
I have no
Daryl, and
idea.
Daryl. But you know the guy who had all the toys walking around in his
the
giant
roboticist.
freaking place, right? Um, he clearly had some high
Yeah,
stats, but you'd never
yeah,
guess it from looking at him.
yeah,
He could have easily had tens and twelves in his intelligence, education, and dexterity.
yeah.
Even his
Well,
Soch could have been a
it
10.
was definitely up there because he was a former co-owner of
Hmm.
the company that
Right.
yeah, but he was retired or whatever. I'm building stupid robots.
Yeah, and just wanted to,
Build his toys.
uh, yeah,
I just wanted to like invent new. He was the Steve Jobs, not the Steve Jobs, the Steve Wozniak, the other one.
mhm, yeah. I would have never got
Uh,
that name, but yeah.
the Woz.
And and the characters that you guys create, could easily have a surprising decent stat here or there, or they could literally be middle of the road, or even low numbers, fives, or even fours and fives in multiple stats, and that wouldn't take away from your ability to participate in a game of Traveler, which is weird because most other games, those it just doesn't seem viable. You look at these numbers and they're all out of a 3D6, let's say, scale, you're looking at sixes and sevens. You're like,
Well,
I can't do anything, and you can right.
that's why I like Morkborg's system. It's because you could be the shittiest fucking character you could possibly make, and yeah, it's highly unlikely you're going to survive long, but you can still get things done. You just got to roll high. It's not impossible. You don't like gotta get
Well,
20s every single fucking time, right? You're just
I
living
think it
around a
has a lot to
15
do
or
with
whatever, right?
I think it has a lot to do with the
Yeah,
genre and the era, if you will, because if we were to go back in time and meet people, let's assume that like King Arthur and Robin Hood were real people like we expect. A lot of their compatriots, okay,
yeah,
Connell, thanks, um, would probably have a lot of low stats and could have gotten by on
yeah,
one high stat. Whereas in a modern or futuristic scenario,
yeah.
that's not the
Oh,
case. You know what
Connell,
I mean?
sorry about the other day on your show. I wouldn't have said that word if Bruce hadn't already said it.
Yeah, no.
The
I don't know
one
what
I
word
didn't
that
say
was,
when
but
Aldridge or whatever the fuck his name tried to get me to say on your show the other day.
yeah, we're
Yeah,
not going to say that on my show
I
either.
wouldn't. I
It's
would
just
like. I didn't say it in yours because like I wouldn't do that. But somebody had already broken that fucking seal, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right. Well,
and
it's just there's some words out there. You know me. You guys know me. I'm especially you, Justin. I'm a big free speech guy, but there's some things that are just vulgar
yeah,
and just they serve no purpose
shock
other
jock.
than to
Uh,
uh, or hurt
you know,
people that you've
we're
never met.
specifically referring to the titles of movies, but still, like,
Right. Right. And someday there will come a point where, we'll just go back to using, words like idiot and things like that, as opposed to, you know, things people can't help. If you're going to insult somebody, you know, at least spend a moment or two to get to know them so you can come up with
personal,
something,
right?
poignant. There you go.
I would never insult you individually by calling you stupid and fat, Shadow. I would call you a gay pornographer like you are, and everybody in every fucking moment should always know that Shadow is a gay pornographer. Shut up!
Which
It
not
is
true, but it's funny
absolutely
as shit.
raise your hand if you raise your hand if you've made gay porn around here. Shadow, raise your goddamn hand Raise your goddamn hand, Shadow.
I've never made it. I did not make it.
If
It
you
happened.
produced gay
didn't make
pornography,
it.
you resulted in the production of gay pornography. Raise
I did
your
literally the
goddamn
opposite
hand,
of produce it.
Shadow.
I destroyed it as
Shadow,
soon as
why
it
are you
happened.
lying to us? Raise your
I
goddamn
literally
hand right
destroyed
this
it as soon as
goddamn
it
minute. I am not even taking the Lord's name in vain. He legitimately expects me to say damn because you did not fucking raise your hand. You were going to hell for being a goddamn. That time it was in vain. Breaking the seventh commandment, was it the ninth? Bearing false witness. That one. Yeah, by not raising your hand, you're bearing false witness on making gay porn.
Dude,
I'm
it
counting that as
happened, and I
raising your hand.
destroyed it the second.
Is there really a thing called destroying?
I'm not raising my hand.
About-
All right, you two, chat. Give me a minute because I got to pee
Buy
on
a
the
bottle
racehorse.
like the rest of us.
No joke.
What
So
were you saying?
what was the topic of tonight?
I have no idea. I've just been making up shit.
The topic was how
You're in the
humanity,
bathroom. We do not want to hear you
might
fucking
see-
peeing. Okay.
I'm going down the stairs. I'm not in the bathroom.
We did not need to know. We do not know if you need. We do not need to know if you need to go see a proctologist or not.
Yeah.
I mean, he is of the age.
He has been for about a few thousand years, though. So, um, what will because we're still rambling on about this sci-fi game that will never happen. What will change in the next 500 years for the human species in
Nothing.
society? Yeah, that's what I've been telling this motherfucker, but he won't hear it. Yeah, it's just more degeneracy or a fervent wave of puritanism, one or the other.
Technically, we've been using the same thought. I bit the hell out of my tongue earlier today. Thought processing that the Egyptians, used, and
Well, I think we're a bit smarter than them.
there's days I
Maybe the
wonder.
Romans.
There are days I wonder.
Uh,
That's all right. Me and Shadow are gonna get into a Facebook fight.
over.
He's all excited that I guess some town in Arkansas is allowing Bibles into public schools, which I think is a horrible idea.
Whatever. You're not in Arkansas. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I know. As soon as you open up that door, per se.
It's already open. They got
Yeah.
menorahs on the White House lawn.
Okay. I should say this. I have no problems with Jews. I have a few Jewish friends. They're really cool people. I work for a Jewish family. I do not speak for Justin. Justin does not speak for me. I feel like I should say that for legally, so my ass is covered.
Did you only work for them on Saturday to turn their lights on?
Oh no, I work for them. I work for them Monday through Monday.
Monday through Monday?
Yeah,
So only on Mondays?
Monday to Monday through
Sunday.
for a week. No, Monday to yeah. I see what you're saying. I bit the hell out of my tongue. I'm fucking been paying for it.
Technically, it's Sunday to Saturday.
Yes, there we go.
That being the beginning and the end of the week. That's how the calendar works.
That's how you
That's how calendars work. It's a Sunday on the first beginning of the week, Saturday at the end of the week. That's why it's called the week ends. They are the ends of the week. Either end, plural. Two.
All right. You made your point there, Cupcake.
I'm stalling while Shadow's taking a piss, okay, motherfucker?
So what have you been up to today other than, ham hauling with
Shadow. Mostly just sitting here doing dick-all. It's a fine Saturday. I like to sit around doing nothing. I check my emails. That's the most work I've done all day.
So I'm so excited when you guys become the 51st state.
Yeah, I got my helmet right here, my battle rattle right there, my machine gun ready to go. Second you guys cross that fucking border.
I want to know how he thinks this is going to fucking work out. I want to know why he thinks this is a good idea.
Yeah.
What's a good
turning
idea?
Canada into the 51st state.
Okay, right off the bat, that's dumb. And I'll explain why. We should turn it into 10.
That's not much better.
You got 10 provinces. It's way better. We get to add 10 stars to the flag, not just one.
No.
I think you guys deserve at least that.
Need,
that way everything kind of stays the
30
same.
stars off of your flag and turn them into provinces, like 2 provinces. Because like that's the size comparison, right? Like it's about the 15 of your states makes one of our provinces.
Depends on which one.
Let's start.
Yeah, like California and like fucking 14 other.
Let's be honest.
We'll take California. We'll cut it in half and combine it with like 14 other states, and
half the United States is got their fingers crossed and will fall off into the ocean.
Let me pull up a map here. And I'll look at it. So we'll take Seattle, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, Nevada, and California. Yeah, we'll turn that into New Greater Cascadia, and then we'll take. I guess we'll put Utah in there too. We'll take North and South Dakota, Michigan, Wisconsin. What's the one I'm thinking of that's in the middle there? Minnesota. I missed that one. Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. And we'll turn that into, I don't know, fucking other side of the Lakeaton. We'll call it that, something stupid like that. And those will be our 2 new provinces. And the rest of you motherfuckers can starve to death because we're going to close the borders.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically,
never gonna happen.
Depends on how shit breaks down within 500 years from now.
Well, no. We're talking like the next 6 months or so.
Well,
for the new states, for the new provinces. Sorry.
As long as we have a man-child running the government, who knows?
Yeah. As coding is becoming a self-automating process, we need to import new coders from India.
Yeah. Hey, I like Indian food.
Not that much.
That's fair. Man, about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, somebody asked me what's the weirdest thing I've ever fucking seen, cooking wise. And because I live in the Midwest, I might have to say, well, it's Midwest food. They're like, how so? I'm like, I was at a family get together with my ex-wife, and somebody in her family brought in green beans that was in Jello.
Yeah.
Jello. You say what?
Yeah. Green beans were in Jello.
Green bean Jello. It's a thing.
That's
It's
just
fucked up.
weird.
Yeah.
It was a thing out of the fucking 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw. I think I
no,
saw the
no,
same
you
video.
saw that in person.
I
Uh,
saw
But
it in person.
no. I don't want to import people that use their mouths as fucking mixing bowls to spit in the food.
oh no shit,
Like,
huh?
What was that movie? Snowpiercer?
yeah, the one with the train.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made a TV show of that.
Oh wow.
Can you say remaking things that aren't even old?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. What about it?
I would just overall that's kind of how things kind of feel. You're either at the shit end of the situation or at the very top, and it's only the 1% on the top.
Yeah. I like the part broke, so they were taking children to replace the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the population can only get so big, so I like
Yeah.
I like the theory that that was the next book in the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory storyline.
There was a whole series of those books, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What? Great Glass
Uh,
Elevator?
That was the Charlie and the Chocolate.
There was
Yeah,
one
there was
after
a whole
that.
series. I'm pretty sure there was a whole series of them.
Huh. I only knew of the
I
first two.
think no,
I
well,
thought there was more of them.
no.
There might
I'm
have only
saying
been
the
two.
Snowpiercer was the next.
That's a fan
Oh,
theory.
yeah, I've heard
It's a
that.
fan theory.
Yeah, but for works it works.
Yeah. But there are several volumes in between there.
I would hope.
Oh, you
I
should
never
see
saw it.
that Snowpiercer. You'd like it.
After watching the first pilot episode of fucking Black Mirror, I'm good for a while.
Black Mirror. You only
Yeah,
watched the first one.
I watched the pilot episode and it was a bit much. I mean,
I don't
Rich,
remember the first episode.
um,
Really?
wow,
That was a hard one to
the
forget.
first episode basically.
Was it the pig one?
Yeah,
Okay, I
Yes.
remember it now.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to
Black Mirror.
I don't know who I
forget.
feel more sorry for. I mean, there was literally 3 victims in that. No, 4 victims in that episode, and I was one of them for having to see it.
The National.
I'm sure the pig did not want the extra attention.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like the next one. 15 minutes of something.
50,
No.
15 minutes of shame.
15 million merits. Sorry, I just said
Oh, I was about to say that sounds.
Yeah. That's the one I was talking about, where
Yeah.
the social credit score the characters had their social credit score just destroyed from
No.
profanity.
15 million
and
merits
things.
was the one where they were human batteries. Like the lower class were having to like be on treadmills all day, and the one guy saves up points so his friend can become a singer, and she ends up having to become a porn star.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, she gets to go on a talent show, and then like the judge says, "No, you'll be a fucking porn star," and he ends up having to watch the fucking. He has like a crush on her, so yeah.
yeah. I remember that one.
And it's the same chick from Brave New World. If you watch the TV show, you should. You like
No,
it.
I didn't.
You should make Jackie watch it.
Dude, the list of stuff I should have watched
There's only
right
9
now is
episodes of that.
insane.
It's from like 5 years ago or whatever. So
I'm thinking the next video that Shadowwell Production presents should be called 15 Minutes of Shame.
Yeah,
never
what
gonna
would be
happen.
15 minutes of shame in a Shadowchat movie? Heterosexual sex?
Yeah, because I've never done that before. Jesus
Uh,
Christ.
Hey, Wolfbane.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, Eldred? We were just
No,
talking about you.
the 15
Nothing
minutes of
beautiful.
shame is just having Jack look at his dad with that just look he gets on his face from time to time when he tries to convince Shadow the world is not flat. I
I don't think the
I
world is
know.
flat.
Yeah, you think it's the tip
mean,
of a dildo.
No. Oh my God. Look. Did all that time travel, talk of time travel, and you went back into your 12-year-old self? I'm so sorry for putting you through that.
So we need to use AI
It's
to put
good.
Shadow's head on a fucking gay guy whipping a fucking giant rubber thing around. Just send it to Jackie.
You use purple. I use purple.
Probably get into serious trouble for doing that. He's under 18.
I'm ignoring you guys because
Uh,
we were just talking about the last time you were here. That one word you used, I think, and we don't really use that
Nonsense.
word.
Nonsense.
No. No big deal. Don't worry about it, Eldred. Nice to see
I
you.
don't know.
I don't know where Raven is. I gave her the link like literally like 2 hours
Raven.
ago.
Yeah.
Where's
And we devolved or we finished the topic quite a while
I
ago.
don't know. It's only been about 15 minutes. We
That's
should
not what
wrap
she
up.
said.
Yeah, she said, "Fuck, that was 2 hours." God, that hurts.
That's also not what she. That's also not what she said.
I need a wheelchair. You're so big. That's what she always says to me.
So how is your relationship going
Oh
with
wait, did
the
I already,
trash seal? The
What?
trash
with
seal.
what?
Yeah, we call him Trash Seal now instead of Panda. Or yeah, not Seal. Yeah,
No, he's a trash panda.
we
Uh,
upgraded we upgraded it to
I don't feed
Seal
him.
because he lives in Nunavut now. No,
He's
no,
still a
no,
trash
no, no,
panda.
because
That's
he
all I
clubs
get.
seals in the head with his face. That's why we upgraded. We're trying to be culturally sensitive to the Nunavut people. Okay, so it's trash seal now. We don't want to get into trouble with the fucking Gestapo or whatever.
You truly are just a walking hate crime.
Well, I try to be.
Not
I really
you,
don't
not
hate
you.
anybody.
I was
Like
gonna
I
talk to you.
literally answered, I try to be. Like fuck, did you not hear that?
No, I didn't. I was trying to find a
Yeah.
color.
Well, see, I don't go around fucking trying to find colors like some people over here.
Yeah, I was waiting for your response on Facebook all day today, Shadow. It's like, come on.
Um, I was very busy today
Out in the
doing
garage with his
productive
video
things.
camera.
No, I was
Or Timmy
shopping
and
and
Timmy and
He was
Paul.
looking for a
cooking,
new
and
rent boy. He broke the last one.
I got to keep myself busy if I'm gonna quit smoking.
It's a trick.
It's not easy.
So
But as for your uh, Facebook thing, uh, you keep talking like that, and I'm gonna have to contact your
My church
church.
knows the way I think.
they haven't excommunicated you?
I've actually talked to priests who actually agree with me. You're opening up.
I
You're
don't believe that
opening
for a
up. Okay.
second.
Here's the problem. Let's say we just allow Christian Bibles to be taught in school. No Muslim, no Hebrew, nothing else, just Christian. Okay. All
I'm
right.
okay
So
with
we're there,
that.
right? Which Christian? Which variation? Are we?
Uh,
Are we talking about Jehovah's Witnesses? Are we talking about Mormons? Are we talking about Catholics, Baptists, Southern Baptists? And the list just keeps on going. Oh, are we also going to be teaching the Jefferson Bible? Because once you open up a particular door like that, the floodgates opens. And because this is the land of the free, and we're supposed to be religiously tolerant towards everybody else, you can't be if you just nail down onto one thought processing.
That's a bunch of liberal
It's
nonsense.
not liberal nonsense. It's common fucking sense. It's so fucking common. They put it in every hotel room in the fucking drawer.
Yeah, but those hotels get to pick the type of Bible they put in.
Okay, there's the other argument. Which Bible?
And they all like get the same generic, like fucking non-denominational Bible.
Okay, which?
Okay, since you're not actually a Christian,
there is a non-denominational Bible.
And well, here's the thing.
Okay.
You're part of the group that thinks it's okay to shit on Christianity, but everybody else is off limits.
Wait! You're talking about
this motherfucker
stop down here? Okay, yeah. No.
Me? I'm a practicing Catholic.
Yeah.
But I understand. I see Catholic and being American does not have to be the same damn thing. Being Christian and being American does not have to be the same damn thing. I believe in the it can't be.
It should be.
Sorry, you're no longer to come into our country if you're not Christian.
There was a time when there was a time when that was
I'm okay with that
nonsense. That's crazy.
Why? There was actual major talks about restricting certain people from being allowed to have office because of their religious denominations. There were several states that prohibited
Germany tried that in the 1940s.
No. There were several states in the United States that prohibited certain groups of people based on their religious affiliation.
I get
as part of their state laws,
and it's wrong.
Yeah, I think at the very least, we should leave it up to the states. And if you don't want to be part of that state, I mean, you're already there. You're in Illinois.
Illinois,
so you got nothing to worry about.
Everybody makes it out to be. It's like
sure about that?
No, but it's
like saying it's all of fucking Texas is 100% Republican.
No, that state is purple as it's going to be and is ever going to be. It's always been a purple
awful.
State.
Or picking, they give somebody his own.
Everything in the Ten Commandments is technically already almost
so
law,
my daughter
almost
is almost a reading age. So how much older should I sell her? What kind of price should I get for her on the market? That's
You're
the Bible.
talking Old Testament.
You can't separate the Bible.
No. Literally, the New Testament is like the whole point of that covenant is to forsake the old. That's like the breaking of the covenant of the Jews. That's literally what it is.
Bible, if you pick up the majority of the Bibles I've seen, I should
say, one? Like this, like the Tanakh or the New Testament?
If you pick up the King James Bible.
You see, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're also talking about a revision. That's the King James Bible is literally throwing back to the older tradition in forsaking the newer one. That's why it's got so many problems with it.
So if we're going to get rid of the Old Testament, then we get rid of the Ten Commandments.
That's why they're revised.
They're already enshrined. Most of them are already enshrined in law.
That's why they were revised into the sins.
Oh God, Peter and Paul and Peter. What a duel they made.
Yeah, I do believe they were even picked up into the New Testament. So like they got rid of a lot of
separation of. Should churches have to pay taxes?
That's a different issue then.
No,
because you're talking about philosophy and then regulation. That's a regulation. There were a time in your country where churches did have to pay taxes. And then there's still like the level and location, and like what classifies a church, right? Because you can literally find like three of your buddies
Oh
meet
yeah,
together and form a fucking church, and that entity doesn't have to pay
right,
taxes
right.
because you are now the foreseer of the order of fucking Lula Dupe, and these three guys are your congregation. That's your new religion. Where do you want to convert, motherfucker? You send that with your application for no taxes.
There's a reason why there's a separation going back to just in general. There's a reason why there's a separation in church and state.
Yeah, and a lot of that separation is exaggerated for political control in the modern day.
I mean, okay, let's make it a Catholic nation. I know a whole lot of fucking Protestants will have a problem with that, and Lutherans, and Mennonites, and a few other.
And you know,
Church of
do you know what
AD&D.
happened to them up until the 1920s? They got put down with gunfire.
Oh
There are
yeah,
literal times in your country where the fucking state militia was brought in to shoot up fucking religious institutions.
oh yeah.
Nice. Not what you said, but
I mean,
something
up
like
until about 40 years
Just kidding,
ago, up
Because like the tent revival batshit snake handling shit is American and American only.
who do
It's
we have
probably Eldred.
here joining us? I bet it's Eldrad.
Eldred.
I'm also tired and I'm on new mess, and that makes me grumpy.
Yeah.
Hello.
What's up, Eldrad?
We're having a
How you doing?
discussion on religion. One of my favorite subjects, being from Bible Belt South.
Yeah. Sorry, you gotta call it what it is.
Me too.
New Christian-based cult of the week, South.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. Yeah, just interesting stuff, though. With the freedom of religion and such, is that we have to be absolute on that as Americans, and but when that comes, I just say during a football game, and this is a scenario I've thrown out, and I've had some people go, "There's nobody like that," but the nerds I knew actually knew some actual. They were not devil worshippers; they were Satanists or Satanists, or whatever you want to call it. But I said, what if they wanted to pray during the football game? And I'd kill them. I wouldn't let. I said, well, that's the problem. That's why we're not allowed to have. We have to have a separation of church and state because as much as I disagree with this person's philosophies and stuff. I mean, he had a terrible life, and I don't even know if he's alive now. But he had a point. What if I want to pray during a football game? I wouldn't be able to. I said, well, that's not the point, really. Just, I mean,
Well,
then again, though, it's up to the individual state and county and parish or whatever you live in.
but you're talking about a
individual
football game. That's not the state.
Yeah.
You don't think the football game is the state, do you?
No, it could be for some people, but
If you live in Texas,
Especially in Georgia.
yeah, I'd be
Go
for.
Falcons,
I
right?
never have liked sports, and back when I was in
Pronounced
school, I was
sports
the
ball.
little bitty guy. I was a little guy. I was the football, so it was kind of like
I played 2 years
Jock.
of football and got scouted to play my high school team. And I'm like, showering with boys? No, thanks.
played-
I find that hard to believe, Shadwell. I find that very, very hard to believe that
Of course
don't
you
like
do.
showering with boys.
Dude, I went to such great lengths is I managed to have my PE class through middle school was 6 periods so I could avoid that whole freaking weird ass shit so that I could just say PE's over, I'm going home later. Because that
Yeah.
just seemed like
hell, I know a few people
don't
where
believe it.
football
Thanks.
is Sunday football is
That-
church.
100%
Yeah,
I
absolute
think in
fact.
high school you took
Sorry,
showers. You deliberately ducked out of class early so you could take a shower between each period.
Dude, I'm way too lazy for that shit. Way too lazy.
Well, back in the day, I mean,
So what have you been up to, Eldred?
just working on a few game stuff here and there, fiddling around with one of my freeform super systems that been reading through a lot of different game systems for supers type games, and still going, damn.
What are you
I'm more
leaning
leaning
toward?
towards
What are
my
you leaning
freeform
toward?
system because
Well, I mean,
in the past,
in the
back in
past,
the day, I there was two supers games. It was Marvel, the old TSR Marvel, the good one, remarkable, amazing,
right?
and then I wrote my own that ended up being called Heroes Mag, which is kind of like a D20 based system. And actually, I republished that recently, the 85 version. I kind of like compiled all my rules and stuck them on drive through, and fun as hell.
For me, it was always villains and vigilantes, and there were some things about Palladium's Heroes Unlimited that I liked a lot that V&V kind of dropped the ball on, which was skills. You know what your character knows how to do for, let's
Yeah,
say, his secret identity. But
He's a
Palladium,
reporter, or he's a photographer, or he's just independently wealthy, you motherfucker.
yeah, it's pretty much all there is, right?
He could be a
But
lawyer
nothing,
and
nothing
blind.
in my experience, nothing in my experience could match what was feasible for a villains and vigilantes character when it came to the high end. Everybody always wants to focus on the low end, and that's fine for a while. But every once in a while, you want to really cut loose with that power fantasy, and be able to fly
yeah,
at the speed of light or whatever. And
yeah.
nothing did
No,
it like
actually,
V
V
and
and V
V.
was my first Supers role playing game because a guy gave it to me because he couldn't understand it, and actually, I still
Math
Hungar!
have.
is hard.
Oh, in Louisiana, we're number 67 in the nation in education.
Oh, hey,
Yeah,
what's up,
you say
Hungar?
that
Long
every
time no
time you
see.
come on.
Yeah, it's true though. But anyway,
I think
it is.
because it
We're
does seem
some.
like
I
that.
mean, we got we. It's not really uneducated. Some of it's willfully ignorant, is what it is. I mean, it's not. People just choose not to learn shit sometimes. Stuff. So I mean, sometimes. So
Yeah, math was never my strong suit, and that had a steep learning curve.
Math, history, basic
Kind
common sense,
Heterosexuality.
I always loved history. History was great.
of.
and con. Yeah, yeah.
For me, when it comes to history, I have basic, simple philosophy. Who the fuck can I trust to
Yeah.
believe? The old adage, history is written by the victors. Why should I believe any of
It's
it's even
history and
remotely
religion.
accurate
History and
after a
religion as
certain
well. I mean, think about it.
Mm.
Well, religion is a matter of faith, and it's intrinsically meant to be unprovable. Otherwise, it would be just knowledge, not faith. Whereas history, it's like, everybody's got a completely different opinion, and records have been falsified since the beginning of writing.
How,
So it's like, if you can hand me a definitive, absolutely scientifically provable volume of history to go through,
Hungar,
awesome.
hop in here. Unless you're still in the hospital for your CAT scan.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. You said you were at the hospital. Are you in the hospital or are you just visiting? Or
ancient
were you
history as
just
told by
visiting?
Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson on Joe Rogan, and I like his. I like that stuff.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I do too.
but you said Joe
The
Rogan,
only history that
so
I really, yeah, Hancock kind of lost me when he started, getting into the
yeah.
ayahuasca and shit like that. It's like, dude, you're not a teenager anymore. You've got responsibilities. Uh, the great mind that he does have is in danger of slipping out his ears if he's not careful, and I'd hate to see that happen
Yeah,
because he's done the work. Uh, but the most ancient of history does fascinate me. Oh, that sucks,
Gay.
Hungar, because it opens up so many possibilities. That's why I was a big fan of Ancient Aliens because it
Jesus
was so
Christ.
inspirational for creating new worlds and new cultures and things like
Okay.
that to make my worlds
Okay.
less
All
like
right.
Earth.
Was Jesus
You're
Christ an
making
ancient alien?
mushrooms.
Is that what you said? That is that what?
That's what I heard.
No, Connell
No,
said.
no,
Connell
no.
said Jesus Christ.
No, and I
I
hate.
don't know.
No, I get really torqued when people refer to Jesus
He
as
was a
anything other
lizard
than what
man.
he is. But that's,
David Icke told us.
I'm going to tell
He
you
was a
something
good
right now.
one.
This is David Icke in this
I look forward to not seeing
What?
people like that in heaven. I know it's very unchristian like, but I look forward to not seeing those heretics up in heaven.
That's cringe.
See,
Everyone should be in heaven. That would be the
Hold on,
ideal
I'll be right
state.
back.
Obviously, that's a tragedy. And more than a tragedy than it is. What you're saying isn't
You know, Jack would make a great Mormon. Just have him go door to door to door.
Had
you
Oh,
hear
yeah.
him read me the riot act?
Yeah. Jack, get in
Okay.
here. We need you to tell.
You hear
Yeah.
me summon. He's got the most shit-eating grin on his face. I love it. Come into the pulpit and preach.
About what? How what you said was incredibly disrespectful, blasphemous, and heretical.
I'm a
Yeah.
sinner. What can I say?
Well, yeah, and here you are saying that because you personally don't like what people have done, therefore you think they should be in hell. Which the same thing can and should
I
be
said that
said about
earlier.
you.
I actually did say that earlier.
I did.
You know, who was he yapping about being like an atheist, liberal, whatever, communist? The typical buzzwords this guy uses. Was he? I assume he was talking to
Yeah.
you, Connell.
Yeah.
I believe.
Not
believe-
the actual atheist.
I honestly believe that the Bible has no place in a government ran school. Private school, what the fuck ever. I don't care.
Let's make them all private then. That's
No.
both worlds.
it'd be cheaper, maybe.
No, well, yeah, kind of.
Well,
I mean, how did schools get funded back in the day? Because after you look at all the socialism we actually have in America, we have public schools, public roads, public fire
anti-Nazism.
departments, public police departments. They're all paid for by the state. I mean, that's all.
everything. Well, police and fire is reasonable, but schools was literally anti-Nazism.
Cool. I got another one if you want.
Schools is anti-Nazism.
Yeah, the part of the drive for large government.
What else did you want me to say?
I don't know. Just say hi to everybody. Be sociable.
Hello, this man's.
Yeah, I keep
degenerate.
telling him to stop making gay porn, but he won't listen to me.
Yeah, he really needs to stop that.
Listen, let's say
Like,
if you
the amount of
Justin,
time
have you
that,
tried it?
He's proud of it too. He acts like he's
Yeah.
not, but he really is.
No, because it never happened. I mean, the one thing it did happen,
happen.
but I did everything. I did everything I
Raise-
could.
never
to
raise
happened.
stop
your
them.
hand
And if it
if
did
you
happen,
d-
it wasn't that bad. If it was that
Raise
bad,
your
then they
hand if you've
deserved
never
it.
made gay porn. Put your fucking hand down right now, Shadow. You have no right to raise your hand.
Wait, I didn't make it.
You
It
were the
just
producer.
happened.
He
And I
just accidentally filmed and produced and distributed
After you
homosexual
were told
pornography.
not to by
Now,
this
why-
guy.
that's
Now,
not
how
what
is that
happened.
concerning
It's
a
literally
girl?
not
What
what
You were
happened.
saying, if you
Like,
do
okay.
this, these series of actions will lead to the creation of new
Yeah.
gay porn. And you still did it.
No, okay, right off the.
Intentionally, with the knowledge that your actions will lead
Yeah.
directly to its creation.
Who deleted that stream?
No.
This guy. How long did he wait to delete
Doesn't
it?
matter. You were
Instantaneously,
told
not even
in
5
advance. You were told in
still
advance
did it.
that those.
Oh,
Yes,
I didn't do it on
all right,
purpose.
all right,
Besides,
all right.
you were probably
Fellas,
recording
just
it anyways
calm
and saved
down.
it
Oh
on
my
some hard drive
god.
somewhere.
Stop being such silly billies.
You'll probably look at it every night.
No, but I
as
know
your
Justin.
debut.
I know
Maybe
Justin
we'll-
will never forget it.
I don't
so
actually
that's a
remember it.
bonus?
I like bugging you about it.
Right. It is funny.
And
And I
I
learned
don't
my
think
lesson.
you have, because you deny it.
I was naive and
You do not raise your hand when I tell you to
Deny
raise your
what?
hand. You raise your hand when you're not supposed to. That means you are fucking trying to evade the actual compilation. You have not redeemed yourself in the eyes of the Lord for the sins you have committed by not accepting it.
I don't think that's even possible. But I'm gonna keep
You
trying.
have to first admit you're wrong and accept the guilt of your sins.
I did make a mistake
After you
letting
were
that guy
told
onto
not
the
to,
stream.
I told you specifically that guy's going to be naked or some shit.
I
Don't let him on. And
I
you
think
let
you
him
should get
on.
a spanking.
that
as much
that
as you
never
can,
even
Ronnie.
occurred to me that was a thing. That's what's so funny about it. If
I
someone would have
actually
told me,
did tell you.
prior
I
to
was in the process of telling you.
it was the furthest thing from my mind.
Oh no, it was the only
Yeah,
thing on
but
your
What
mind.
was just told.
stream was this that had to
You
be
see the
deleted?
look on his
Who was
face.
this person that got on there and did all?
We don't even know the guy's name.
Oh,
it was
Lord.
about 2 years ago. We were doing a live stream.
No, you know his name. You have him
Yeah,
in
he's
contest.
called
You
Rent
film
Boy
with him all
number
the time or
7.
something.
And we let this guy into the stream, like you, not like you, but like we just did.
I'll scratch your ass out, honey.
But
No.
this was back.
No.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Hello.
That's Eldrad,
Oh, okay.
and I didn't know that there was a reason to not put the link in chat. Because some people I know still do. They'll put the
Fools.
link in chat, and we were
Space
talking
armor.
about and the guy in chat was like, sounded like, maybe, knew what we were talking about. So I'm like, okay, fine. I let other, strangers in. That's
But
how I met.
there was like a half hour of him dicking around in chat before that.
Well, yeah, he had an English language issue.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I was
yeah.
trying to be,
Apparently, he didn't have, apparently he
nice,
didn't have a showing his dick issue.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not true, Connell. And then we let him in, and he's literally jerking off,
Yeah,
and I
that's
ended the
kinda-
stream
yeah.
immediately.
Not being nice in someone's house.
And
This is like his favorite. He loves talking about it so much. I don't know why. It's one of his proudest moments. I get it. It's like his debut or whatever. But like, come on, we get it. You made gay porn. You gotta stop talking about it. You're very obviously gay, and we all know it, and that's fine. But stop talking about the time that you showed everybody.
What the hell is this? The Dick Van Dyke
a
show?
hairy
Hey,
I saw the dick. I'm looking for the dyke.
yeah, it was funny, and now I never get to hear the end of it.
Enjoyable for you, I'm guessing.
No,
I'm sure you
that's
loved
why.
that.
You want to go into YouTube and
Yeah,
look for the video?
it's your
They
private
delete it.
archive now. It's downloaded on your
he was
hard
trying
drive.
to drive the point home, but he
how do
wrecked
you-
him.
You uploaded it elsewhere or something.
Was this guy?
Nice, okay.
Also, I like the shock on his face when he said that, because you're like, wait, he knows about that?
Who?
When he said it's in your private archive, you had a very shocked look on your face and began
I
saying
don't have
something.
a private archive.
No, you do, and you
Yeah,
were shocked that
yeah.
he had found out about it, or that he knew,
No,
or that
there's
he
literally-
correctly guessed that you have a secret internet archive where you
Mhm.
keep all of your gay porn.
You want to go through
Yeah.
my stuff and see? You can.
No, I don't,
The meta,
actually.
the meta now is
You
that
wouldn't
he has
find it.
a.
No, I know I would, and that's
Jackie,
why I don't
the
want to
meta
go there.
now is that he has a filming studio in the garage. There's a bed out there and a fuck pew, and
You know, that would explain the stains.
Now for something completely
That was good,
different.
Jackie. That was good.
fuck no, this is the show.
Wait.
this the
Is
show-
this studio over the meth lab he has underneath the garage?
That's under the stairs. That's
No,
under the
there's no meth
stairs.
lab. Drugs are awful.
The meth lab's in the
lab is
stairs. But technically the basement, but the entry to that is under the
whatever.
stairs. Whatever, same thing. The stairs aren't big enough to fit it. It's
No, he's got like a little.
even though it's illegal to code or whatever.
You all have a good evening. I gotta get up way too early tomorrow. I do have to go to church.
Yeah, you
as
gotta
do we. As
go
do we.
explain to your priest that your buddy's making gay porn in the garage.
The only free church is the Presbyterian Church. We all believe our souls become frisbees. Do you want to be caught in the roof or chewed up by the dog in the yard, my brother? It's your choice.
This is why I drink.
Kick him. Kick him.
All right. Shadow, I'll talk to
That
you
was
later.
funny,
Trust me,
dude.
this topic will not be going away because we'll be arguing until I'm an old man and you're just somebody in a jar.
You should ignore Shadow's religious opinions so long as he's making gay porn.
Oh, Lord.
No,
Which
God
is
had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see y'all later.
Party on, Connell.
Take care, Connell. God bless.
That's probably Satan for you, bro.
Probably, though, if you really look at the history of the formation of the epistles and letters and such that became the Bible, it's a very interesting history, actually. Was it the Council of Nicaea and Council of Trent? I'm trying to remember stuff from 20, 30 years ago now, but
Nicaea was the revisionary one.
Yeah, very fascinating how they put all this together. Emperor Constantine and all that. It was extremely.
It's just funny that most of the people who fault the council don't realize the utter gibberish that
Right.
was taken out, and they think that every single word that was taken out was valid and more important than
Like
what
the Book
was
of Thomas,
left
for
in.
instance. That's a very
There
neat
was-
book that I have copies of somewhere.
Which is the one where the cross is dancing around and
I don't know.
singing?
That's
You
Book
remember
of
that one?
Thomas. It's been. Well, see
Yeah,
what you
there's
collectively
a lot
call
of
what they
stuff that's
collectively called the Gnostics. There were huge, as many variations of those as they ended up being denominations. Now, some of the Gnostics were really weird. If you ever, I got
like
an early
the one-
Elaine Pagel's The Gnostic Gospels. It's a very fascinating book when they found the Nag Hammadi text in the 1950s.
I like the one that considers Yahweh a demon.
Yeah, that is the who is the people that were being killed by the they're actually still around. Those they have God is the well, there's it's also they're a sect of Gnostics actually. They're still around. Oh, I can't remember. They're not Coptic. They're
No,
oh hell, I can't
Coptics-
remember what they're called. I can't remember what they're
Coptic's mainline Christian.
called. Yeah, I can't remember what they're called. But
It's
wait,
the
I had it
oldest
on the
mainline.
edge of my brain. But you remember the ISIS people were killing him out? There were a type of Christians that believed that the world was good and God was bad, and but they believed in Jesus, and so I was really the Yazidi or something like that. They were called.
Yeah,
Yazidi or Yazdi or something to that effect. But yeah, they're still around. There's still some Gnostics around too, and then there's the Nazarene Jews that are actually they're actually Jesus Jews that were. See, when they had according to their history and various history, you had the disciples that had their original Christian church, and then the Paulian church came along, and they had a big disagreement over circumcision. Circumcision is that what you say? Because what it is
don't do it.
Yeah, well, what it was is the original Christian, the Nazarene Jews, they still said if you're gonna become a Christian, you got to get circumcised. And Paul was like, well, maybe not. Why, you know? And so there was that rift over circumcision, and don't know what all happened. I know the Nestor was still around, and the Pauline Christian ended up becoming the Catholic Church that then broke up to be the Protestant Church and such. And then you have and there's not really what's the ones before the Catholics, the Orthodox, you know.
I'm against buying land for foreskins.
Yeah, that's I just don't know what the deal is with the foreskin thing. That's just kind of because I'm
it's got to be some sort of
the land, the Greater Israel land from Egypt to the other river,
Euphrates,
from
Nile to the Euphrates and all that.
That was bought for 200 foreskins or whatever from I want to say the Carmelites. Like
there's got to be some.
Yeah, that's why Yahweh is a demon.
In that
because Yahweh demanded that through one of the kings.
I mean, what could you possibly do with that other than spiritually or mystically? There's
some claim that it was like another demon, like the fucking storm demon or whatever. But,
see, like a lot of really interesting, like the early Semitic religions with Yahweh. Originally, he had a wife named Ashara, I believe.
yeah.
Ashara.
Yeah,
Well,
that's utter horse
I
shit.
mean, well, that was the formation of the religion as it came about, So,
yeah.
and
That's why I sent you an English translation of the Tanakh the other day, Shadow. You can read it all you want. Yes, it's in our direct messages.
Did you give it a header or something, or is it
It's
just
got
a
a big
link?
picture of the fucking word Tanakh, and it says it again in Hebrew.
Oh, okay. Because a lot of people send me links, and I have no idea what they're for.
It's
And
in
if
our
you don't
direct conversation.
type
It's
what
like
it
the
is.
third or fourth thing.
Okay. All right. I'll look into that
I
at
will
some point.
put it in the show the show notes as well. The sidebar. If anyone watching wants to click it, just let me copy the link here. It is a PDF. I have the show open. No, not there.
Mhm.
I have to open the show. Oh, there it is. Post. That link I just put in the chat. It will pop up in a minute. That is a PDF of the Tanakh in English.
what's that from?
You don't know what the Tanakh is?
No. Let me see here. Got some ancient Canadian religion. Yahweh. Yahweh. Said Yahweh because, you hoser.
No.
The Tanakh, the Jewish Bible. Okay. Is this also known as the Talmud? Or
Yes.
never heard the term. And I'm like 1/4 Jewish, so it's like, never
Yeah,
heard
that's
the term.
why I'm not believing you that you don't know what the Tanakh is.
Well, I see the Torah, which is
Yeah.
I just guess I've never heard that term Tanakh in all my life, which my exposure to Judaism is like I found out we were Jews. Actually, my kind of crazy story. My grandmother, when they got here to the U.S., they had a cotton farm. My grandmother actually was a Jew that picked cotton. That's always funny.
Wow. She probably owned somebody that picked cotton.
No, she was. She wasn't that old. But she had a whole brothers and sisters.
Most of the people that owned people that picked cotton were of that particular denomination.
Well, no, she actually.
I don't know about most.
She was here. They came to the U.S. after 1913 or something.
According to Haaretz magazine, 70% of slave owners in the U.S. were Jewish.
From the Bible Belt south of all the slave owners, and I don't really recall any of them being Jewish.
According to Haaretz magazine.
Yeah, Haaretz. Okay.
I've never heard of that magazine. What is that?
They have a website. They're Jewish news.
Yeah, it's
and events.
It's like the largest Jewish newspaper on the planet.
Yeah.
Really, I've never heard of it.
So,
well,
what terms did I use last podcast I was on, because I can make sure not use them without saying them? But
you wanted me to say a word that started with an N and had 2 G's in it.
Oh, I didn't want you to say that.
You most certainly did.
Oh.
You said, say the N word.
Oh,
and I said, it's not my podcast. It's not my show.
Yeah.
And then on my show, I said it and specifically called you out.
Okay. Well, I just don't try not to use that word because it tastes like soap. Let me tell you why. Because my mom was a Church of the Nazarene woman, right? And butt was a bad word. I remember. I can taste soap right now. I taste safeguard right across my teeth. The N word. We were not allowed to use words like that.
At least
the N word was.
Thank God it wasn't dial.
Oh God, safeguard is worse. I'm telling you. It's like 3 days.
Really?
3 days.
Well,
3
okay,
days.
let's
Brillo
okay,
pad.
thank God it wasn't lava, because you wouldn't be having this
Yeah,
conversation.
humus.
Remember lava? We wouldn't
It was
even be
bleach.
having this conversation because you'd been mute all these years.
No.
So that stuff was gnarly.
Always had that because my dad was a mechanic on the side, so he always had lava soap. You know,
Yeah.
could fix
Yeah.
anything, man. He was one of them guys who fixed. I never had a repairman at our house because my dad fixed everything. One of them guys from the olden days.
We only ever had the guy for the television, but we had like an old tube TV up until like 97.
Oh
I
my
think.
God.
Oh yeah, 17 years
God.
our tube TV lasted. The Zenith, 17 years.
Ours was from
We
from
were-
the 70s. It was one of those wood case ones from the Sears catalog, and we finally got rid of it in like
Mhm.
96, 97. Right, and I still miss it because like
Really?
it was like the cabinet unit, like it had the not the door thing,
Mhm.
but the
We had one like that.
like you. No,
Did it have the doors that
didn't
covered
have
the
that, but
TV
it was
when
like the
not-
full wood. Like it didn't have plastic. It was just the side panel.
We had
with
louvered
the
doors
I've
on
got
ours. The louvered doors
Yeah.
closed. It was awesome. And actually,
we didn't have that, but we
Yeah,
had like,
same here.
it was like a table, but just a TV. You know, like so there would be stuff on top of it, right? So
Uh-huh.
usually a box of chocolates.
Yeah, you could sit on
Yeah,
it. and
Tori-
it
Stand,
wouldn't-
you
it
could
wouldn't
jump
touch.
on top
I've
of
got
this
a-
thing and it would be fine. It was just like
Right.
yeah,
Right.
whatever.
I've got this stereo. One of my really good friends, he was going through a divorce, and he stored a bunch of stuff in my garage for a couple of years because I wouldn't let him use a storage unit because that's just wasted money. I had easily 10 by 10. Here, dude, just store your stuff here. And it's been, 13 years, and I still have this giant stereo that, I kid you not, is as big as a freaking coffin. But we got it up on end, and I haven't uncovered it in probably a decade. I've moved it like once. I need to go look and see if it's actually got a phonograph in it, because it's just
probably sounds
freaking
good.
massive.
It's high fidelity, I bet you. Which makes heavy metal on record.
Yeah,
sound
I know.
really good.
I know. It's the same thing.
The
We were
problem,
talking about records.
the problem
was it
with
today?
those
Or
big
yesterday?
like cabinet unit record players is when one thing goes down because they're so bespoke in the way they're built that you either need to find that same unit or chuck it or like gut the whole thing because
Yeah,
uh,
I'm more inclined to just wheel it out to
And-
the side of the road,
and-
put a free sign on it, leave it there a couple of weeks. If nobody takes it, like the
Yeah.
piano that we were talking about down the street, that's still there. And if not, the county will
Wait.
take it
Did
if I
you
make
check
a
to see if
phone
that
call.
piano has a brass harp inside? Because you might have like 50 to 100 pounds of brass that you could turn into a scrapyard. You better check. It may be just cast iron, but if it's brass,
well, even the
might have
cast
some money
iron will be like worth something.
yeah, but the brass especially.
It's not mine.
Well,
It's
just
in
go-
somebody else's yard.
You
Or
go
in front
up
of
to
somebody
the
else's
front
house.
door and say, you're throwing that thing away?"
Oh yeah, it's been out on the
Yeah,
side of
so
the
you
road
just,
for
like,
3 months,
Fucking.
and there's nobody
Well, in
living
that
at the
case,
house.
it's garbage. Just fucking
But there's no way to get it here. It weighs
look inside
easily
of it.
hundreds and hundreds of
Yeah, if
pounds.
it's brass,
I did, and all I see
well,
is
clean it out with your
Spider-Man.
hand. Don't worry about the spiders.
Yeah.
yeah. That's the
To-
last
to-
thing I'm going to do. We
Yeah,
live
me
in
too.
Black
They
Widow
have Black
fan
country.
with
Widows everywhere. But amazing enough, Black Widows tend not to bite you. You can actually pick them up and throw them off to the side. They will not bite you unless you really, really injure them. But I don't recommend doing that.
Yeah.
Because
Nah, I don't feel like
Well, it could be
taking
like
that chance.
$80 worth of fucking brass.
I tell you one thing. What do y'all think about
It's not
Trump's
worth it.
visit to California, to your state, man? He was so mean to those people in California. Well, they just
How so?
criticized how they handled the fire. They did the best they could, didn't they? No. Did you see the video of that? Did you see the
had me
video of
there
that?
for a
Man,
second,
he tore
dude.
them an asshole
Oh.
right in front of them. I mean, it was, oh my gosh. Oh, you liked
It
it?
was
Okay.
glorious.
I
It
felt
was
bad for him a
glorious.
little bit. Then I said, if I had a burnt down house, I probably wouldn't feel so bad for him. But
As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with a woman today in the Dollar Tree. She didn't know why they didn't have any water. About the smelt. We've been diverting water for a decade or more so that we wouldn't kill these
that's
poor little
bullshit.
fish.
That's bullshit. That would be happening anyway. The water's being sent to fucking Mexico so they can have an agricultural thing. That don't listen to that fish thing. That would have been happening anyway. And it's fucking like 30 gallons
Well,
of.
then why doesn't the water go past? Well, how is the water being transferred? Because I don't see it.
There are aquifers, man. Do you go and survey? You're not Omanau. You don't go survey every fucking aquifer in the fucking state, man.
No, but we have a
Yeah, so
river
you
that
got one
runs right
fucking
by our
river.
house.
Like it's not every.
No. I was going to say we have a river bed.
Yeah,
It's been
and that's
empty
why. Like
for 20
there's
years.
literally water coming from. I mentioned the state earlier, freaking like Oregon or whatever. All the way through to California. That should be keeping, because like your state is artificially hydrated, right? Like it's not supposed to have people living in it. Like all those habitats are.
Right. It was
Yeah,
initially.
well,
like,
Alex
a
Jones
desert,
on Infowars talked about this, like, and you're
well,
probably
Alex
going to get
Jones
banned
is
now.
a fucking retard.
Well, no,
like,
he actually talked about this 5 years ago or so, give or take, and he was right. So he wasn't, proved you wrong, Justin. No, but anyway,
no, he is literally a fucking retard. He takes things that other people say and waters them down and
does he now? Okay,
yeah.
well, I have to disagree on that because man, he's so far the leading news.
Well,
it's
because
I mean,
he is the establishment counter mouthpiece, right? Like
yeah,
he's
the
literally
establishment. No, he's actually the opposite of
yes,
establishment.
he is. He's the approved conspiracy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I mean, well, it's good to disagree on that because I mean, the attempts they did on his life a few times and shit like that. I mean, stuff like that. So you don't try to kill your mouthpiece.
You fake it if you want to like up the conspiracy, or you lie about it.
Well, what's he lied about? Let's hear about it. I'm just curious.
No, like
I mean, I'm not a fan of him. I'm just saying he's been right about a lot of stuff. I mean, him and Joe and Tucker and Glenn Beck and who else? They all joined together and telling the truth, man. I mean, about a lot of stuff.
I'm going downstairs, guys. My battery's almost dead. So I'm out of
Why
the
are you leaving the
studio.
studio? Why are you leaving?
It's better. He just told
you.
I
know.
If you were paying attention.
I'm not. I mean, I'm trying to drink some wine right now, so I turned wine just a while ago. So
he's just playing around, Justin.
He's
I recognize
trying to
it.
put some wine into urine.
Well, that's actually what it was.
Lemonade. You're welcome. Hold on just a second, guys. I gotta.
And actually, a lot of the water that goes to Oregon and all comes up from California as well, man. It's
no, the other way around, man. Not
California
Oregon.
supplies water to Oregon.
No. I thought you were saying the other way around.
No, Colorado. I mean, Canada. Y'all got all kinds of water resources and stuff.
Yeah, no, but like
y'all should be a lot richer. What the hell's wrong with y'all?
It's people.
Well, when Trump takes over Canada,
he's not doing that. I already got.
Oh, actually, I know. I'm pretty sure
we got our fucking nests. You guys come across that border, you're getting shot.
Shit, Canadians can't aim. So
yes, we can. We invented war crimes.
Oh, that is right. Y'all did. Man, y'all are some sorry son of guns when it comes to wars.
You want to get your capital burned down again? Fucking it'll be like that time freaking Nancy Pelosi was like, even if the Capitol's burning down, we'll still be here to support you. Yeah, but we'll be the one burning it down.
Hey, at least Canada knows how to go after truckers when they make too much noise. That's one good thing.
Yeah, well.
Damn truckers trying to... What was the trucker thing? What was the trucker thing? What was that?
It was COVID.
Oh.
Yeah, the truckers didn't want to have to get
It wasn't vaxxed.
vaxxed
It was
just to be able to
the
do their job.
stupid wait times at the border. That they were still doing the border cargo, and they're having to like do extra wait times, and because the border shit was understaffed. And I'm sorry, but we're not going
Yeah, I
to
will.
make it easier for drug smuggling because of a fucking international pandemic that's being mismanaged. Yeah.
I know one thing, man. As soon as that shot came out, man, I had got some friends and acquaintances, and one of my enemies, anyway. They all either caught some cancers or died of heart attacks. And one of my friends just had 3 heart attacks. Told him don't take that shit.
Really?
Yeah, he's like 51, completely healthy, and then and then
Does he live I was going to
he's
say, how
pretty
healthy is
healthy
he?
fellow,
Or was he?
Now he's kind of scared. And then his brother, he started having some kind of weird like uh, skin reaction that he can't get. He looks like he has a red mask on. Kind of sad.
Is he a gypsy?
No, he's
They have a
called
specific type
Rosisa
of.
or something like that. Rose, or some kind of eczema. I can't remember the word. But
Oh, that's not uncommon.
yeah. Well, it's like an
Eczema.
immunoresponse, is what the doctor's telling him, and it's like immunoresponse for what?
Could be 150 million things.
But,
I just added you,
yeah.
Eldrad, on Discord.
And I will attempt, because that's like I need to watch myself, but I don't use the N word if I can help it. But to not get myself banned, because there was a group of people that were going around getting me banned, me and some other people banned. Some really nice people too. One guy was banned because he was a real major Christian fellow. In fact, his game is called "Any Planet Is Earth" by Jim Parkin. He is a super nice guy. And it's a kind of like a 3 or 4 page freeform traveler type deal. There's a few dice rolls, but it's one of those toolkits that just can make a universe. Actually, you're a traveler guy, so you'd like Any Planet Is Earth. You'd love it. And Jim is just a really good guy too. I think he's a teacher at a religious school as well. So, but I think he wrote a game called Weird North, which is kind of based off the Into the Odd, if you've heard of that game system, which I recommend not to buy that, because the Into the Odd people, the Bastion Land people, all banned me for some reason. So I hate them all, but they were part of the crowd that were following me around for a while. I don't know why. I mean, there was one discussion about abortion, and all I said was, "How about we don't have an abortion debate by everybody using birth control?" And I was somehow a bad person because I said not to have a pregnancy in the first place, and I was denying a woman her rights. And I realized they were rabid, want to murder babies people. That's what they were. They weren't even about. Yeah,
Yeah, it
they
doesn't make any
literally banned me
sense.
for that.
I mean,
And I did write the Die Pig Orcs module that was like, you said orc. It's called Die Pig Orcs. It's my module that is about orcs being dirty, murdering pig creatures, And they said it was racist. And I'm like, orcs don't exist. And you're saying orcs are racist. You're racist. And anyway, they banned me for that. A lot of my modules were considered offensive, and I'm like, they're just old zine crap. They're not high talent. They're not high literature. I just was bored one day and I scribbled a module. So, and anyway, that one was.
Well, where was
on
it?
Drive-Thru
On Drive-Thru or something?
And all I can say, if you ever play it, make sure you have every single person needs to have max amount of NPCs, because I'll just give it away on one part. When you get to one part, there's 30 orcs you're gonna have to fight. So if you don't have a bunch of NPCs, you're gonna get wiped out. But so
Is it designed for like low level?
but up to like 3rd or 4th level. It's basically like the lands of people are been mankind is lost, so they're having to kind of escape, and they go to this land and they find out that orcs are there, and you got to go take care of them. And then you may have heard of my other module called "Who Will Save the Orchids," It's about some. You get approached by three really weird diplomats, and they've been named after the people some of the people that banned me actually, which is funny. But anyway, indirectly. But anyway, these three diplomats that are all like just queened out, honey. I mean, they just look fantastic. Anyway, they hire you to go to an orphanage that's on the borderlands of a battle of a war where the orcs were routed, and they said, well, there's a bunch of orphans, the orchids, so we want to save these orchids and go to this orphanage and make sure they're being taken care of. So you get to the orphanage, you find out some bad stuff has happened, you trace down where the poor orphan orchids have been, and you find out what happens. And it's pretty good module. It's very weird. I've actually made it on 10-foot pole, so Mr. Bryce Lynch liked my stuff, so I kind of feel, and he hated it too. So it's but really terrible drawing, made in old typewriter font because I like to make my stuff look like an old zine, on my modules.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be working on a zine this year, but getting together with the other guys
Brutal.
has just been.
Yeah, we gotta get back to work on our thing. We gotta like pick a time that we can sit down and.
But yeah, it was one of those. So that was some of the stuff they banned me for, my horrible modules, and I'm like, damn, you people don't have no fun. And then here's what's crazy is I looked up some of their modules and stuff while we're all still talking, and I was on the FKR Discord, which is Free Kriegspiel role playing. Well, as soon as that thing formed, a bunch of leftists came in there and made their own FKR collective because the FKR was supposed to like have some rules that were basically political.
What's FKR, real quick?
So it's like, like the original, like the Bronstein type stuff. Anyway, that all came from Free Kriegspiel. If you get on the I'll send you an invite to the FKR Discord. You'll love it. One of the heroes of that group is Norbert Darkworm Colt. Norbert Machsch, however you say his last name, and he goes by Darkworm Colt. He has a bunch of Free Kriegspiel rules. That's all free. He has a lot of free stuff. He was also one of the people that was spoken badly about. I can't speak right now, but he was another person that the FKR collective attacked because he escaped Germany and went to South America because they were trying to force his kids to get vaccines, and he's like, I don't really quite trust the research they've done on this before they making us do it. So he before that he's an evil person. So whatever you believe about the vaccine or not, the mRNA manipulator, but anyway,
I didn't get it,
and my friends did, and here's the deal: I'm in safety, right? So I've counted from the last 3 or 4. I was on some mega projects, so I had a lot of people. In the few years it was 2,700 and something people that I can take their names down because of HIPAA rules, but they were a lot of them that we had to take 2 weeks off, which is a lot of money for somebody. They came up positive and they were like, damn it, I took the vaccine. How could I get it? They said I wouldn't get it. I'm like, well, maybe they lied to you, and every single person that got it again and got it multiple times, all were jabbed. So, it's not scientific research by any means. And if you're researching not, so I'm not researching. I'm just telling you what my experience, because these people had to come through the safety office to from the different companies I worked through, and they all got it, and so damn sucks to be them. And we've had a lot of people just die, so just fucking just have a heart attack and die, or have their heart screwed up. Like one of my friends, my coworkers, her nephew was a track star, and he can't walk across a room now. He's literally injured his heart. He had myocarditis, which is like a 3,000 or 6,000% increase in myocarditis in young people. So statistically impossible, But hold on, I'll be right back.
Yeah, right, because we're gonna cut this off.
Wrap it up.
But anyway. But I'm talking conspiracy, though. I'm talking conspiracy. I'm sorry. It's all fake.
Yeah. Yeah, no worries. We're actually going to wrap it up. something came up with the boy, and we have to make new plans for tomorrow. His JROTC thing, and we have to figure out how
Okay,
we're going
well,
to work our schedule.
Justin
Time for
Thor
a
and
family
Shadow.
meeting. Good hanging out with you guys. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Look forward to seeing you again. Everybody else out there, thanks for sticking around and playing along. All
Much love
two
to
of you.
everyone. Justin, much love. Shadow and Sun, much love.
Yeah. Party
Thanks,
on.
man. I will see you tomorrow,
Game
Justin.
time. 8 o'clock, my time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Looking forward to it. I got to do the recap for
Yeah.
last week, but I'll do that tonight or tomorrow afternoon. We didn't really do a lot, but
I started a jihad
this week.
That was like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. But
What if you
religious
get
war, motherfucker? What?
Hey,
Justin,
you
what
get
if you
that
get power
message.
in real life? What's going to happen? Just tell me.
If I get power in real life?
Emperor Justin. That's
Yeah.
That'll be
You
next
don't wa-
discussion.
You
Emperor
don't
Justin.
want to know.
Oh, yes, I do. We're going to hear it next.
Gene
time.
testing for everyone. Any resistance will be met with death.
Okay, sounds good. All right, I'm liking it.
What are you testing for? Or should I
Stuff.
ask? Okay, yeah, I figured. All right, guys. I will talk to you later.
Party
Have a good
on.
weekend. Love you.
Are you gonna Taco Bell?
Trails.